Matteo Mesto Domenico says, by the way, I remember Mahler saying that -1 was clearly inspired by the 1998 movie.
Well, that's the thing. I'm a huge fan of the 98 Godzilla film. That's that's where I know everything about my Godzilla lore. So,
Yeah, I watched that as a kid.
It was pretty bitchin'. You can tell that -1 stole a lot from that film, which is okay. It's fine if you like to be inspired, but I mean, he's a little bit less blatant next time, maybe. Please.
Really?
What? Where was that? I don't remember that. Oh my god! Oh god!
That's awful. Surely not.
How off base could you be? Oh god! Okay.
Them being precision. Like at least you've all seen this before, right? Mm-hmm. We don't get to the first fight until basically like almost 40 minutes in.
Oh right, yeah. You want to stop here quick?
Yeah, stop here.
Rags does this for the... Oh, this is actually something someone put in a comment on one of my videos. God knows which one. Rags, for this entire video, sits there going, we've got X amount of time till the next fight. We've got X amount of time till the next fight. It just goes on and on and on all the time. Someone put in a comment of my video on this that they were apparently saying this in response to people saying, oh, but the fights are really good in this film. Like, the film's all about the fights. That's why it's a really good film. So that's why throughout this video, he's just concentrating on how long it is until the next fight.
Yeah, he's concentrating on the bad arguments in favor of the movie while pretty much not really highlighting the good arguments in favor of the film. But anyway, speaking of that, Godzilla Final Wars is often considered to be like one of the most action-packed Godzilla movies out there, with lots of monster action, kaiju fights specifically. Mm-hmm. Do you guys know how long it takes before technically the first kaiju fight happens in Final Wars, which would be Godzilla versus Gigan in Antarctica?
How long?
I'll even pull here. I know the answer, but I'll just pull it up here so that. I'm just pulling it up on my end, and I'll just read it here. Because I got the movie right here. Okay, just give me a moment. Because you're going to love this. You're going to love it. It's going to be almost priceless.
You know that Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, when we looked at that, I was quite surprised at how long it took until Godzilla started fighting Ghidorah.
How long did that take?
It was like an hour or something.
Okay, so here we go. So the first kaiju fight, if we were to go off of Rags' standards for kaiju fights being, I suppose, like kaiju on kaiju action, Final Wars.
Yeah, babe.
The first fight between Godzilla and Gigan, when they actually start trading blows with each other, doesn't happen until almost 1 hour and 10 minutes out of a 2 hour and 5 minute movie.
So halfway through.
Over halfway through. So yeah, like basically like a lot of the action that happens in the movie is not kaiju fighting each other. It's either kaiju's attacking cities or when a kaiju's on screen, because Rags isn't counting. When a kaiju is on screen, like Godzilla.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't count them, does he?
No, he doesn't. It's to make the point, pretty much.
That's okay.
Anyways,
yeah, you're gonna hear a lot of bad arguments.
I saw it in the cinema.
That it's 40 minutes until we get our first fight scene in this movie. So we're gonna have to bullshit for 40 minutes until we get something that's actually passable.
You get to see Mothra throw up on some people, though. You need to see it in a different way. I can get loaded up more on gin tonics.
That's another thing as well. The fact that he keeps talking about drinking.
Yeah.
It's like you're definitely not going to get any kind of coherent, well thought out criticisms from these three when their opening statement is, "I can drink more."
Oh, you guys are watching this Godzilla movie. We're like, yeah, it's terrible. And they're like, no, it's not terrible. It has great special effects. And we'll say, yeah, I love The Last Jedi too.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whoa. Whoa.
At the start of my video...
You did not just pull that comparison, you son of a bitch.
At the start of my video, I put that clip at the start of my video, and then when Molo goes, whoa, ho, 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 and that's just really obnoxious way, I don't know where that laugh comes from, I then added to the end of it, "Do you need help with that straw man?"
What the fuck?
Because it is an absolute straw man. Who said that to you? When did they say that to you? You just making this shit up.
Yeah, it's like, here's the thing. Like, yeah, The Last Jedi does have great special effects, but we're not talking about The Last Jedi. Like,
and even if that comparison, even if you do bring up the comparison, there's way more that King of the Monsters actively does right in comparison to The Last Jedi, especially with how it handles a continuation of what was set up in the previous movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Don't you worry. You will understand why they have this opinion soon. You will understand why.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this epic retcon.
Retcon.
What the? You didn't. we're not even. We're just past a minute in this video, and it's just.
Yeah. I don't know how they worked this out. I don't know how they worked it out.
On my ass.
Here's a picture of a wolf. You can't just get these anywhere on the internet. Here's me with the daughter I actually love.
Oh yeah, so when she says there's something I want to talk to you about, that's the whole taking over the world thing.
I'm getting worried about Mom.
Mom
she says that humans are a blight of nature and wants to destroy us. Ever since I burnt the bacon, Mom just has been a little genocidal.
The toasted ice. Thank you.
Proof they love each other. When I first criticized it, people were like, "Oh, Mola wanted more people stuff in it." I was like, "No, the opposite."
I like the arguments, like, yeah, but there always been like with bad people. So like, how's that still good? Why are you still watching those movies? Then?
It's consistently shit. That means it's good.
You want to pause?
Yeah, pause it for a second.
What?
Just there's a lot going on there between him going. Between the very specific interaction, like all the other interactions that they've been having, ignore those. Just that very one interaction, and he goes, "Yeah, look, proof they love each other," as if that's the entirety of that scene of them interacting. Like,
that's
not, so bad faith.
That's not what that scene is. First,
that's not what the scene is about.
Not at all what that scene is. Well, yes, it does establish Madison and Emma's relationship. At least it begins to.
Yeah,
it's also foreshadowing.
Yeah, the point of the scene is to like set up, basically, how, like basically like what's sort of like the drama that would be going on between the two, and by extension, Mark, as the plot unfolds.
Yeah. As well as setting up one of the core dynamics of this fucking story. Pardon my language. I'm going to be cussing a lot, I think.
Yeah, no, you want to keep the swearing down, you absolute bastard. You. There's a couple of things just from this bit is you can tell just how like negatively they are going into this film, just from pictures of wolves come up. Oh look, you can't get those. Like you just can't get those on the internet or anything, can you? Ha ha ha. Is that? What are you trying to suggest, that they're being late? What are you trying to? And there's no suggestion other than, hey, look, I think this is bad, therefore I'm just going to try and make it sound bad. And then there's, like I said, the bit where oh, look, they love each other here, huh? And then them having a discussion at the bad human dialogue and whatever. So, all Godzilla films have bad dialogue and whatnot. So it's like, who are these people talking to get these opinions from?
Yeah, like, Yeah, what crowd are they pretty much like referred to? Like who are they exactly talking to? 'Cause if they were talking to any one of us, yeah, I mean, then
I think that's the problem, isn't it? Is they're clearly going off God knows who. They're going off of something which is really badly argumented, and they are then spouting they are then arguing against those points by pointing out how they don't work. Oh my god, I'm stumbling all over words today. I'll let you go because I'm clearly rambling nonsense at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, what they're saying isn't too far off from being nonsense. So
True.
He is in the safest place that he could be right now.
In the middle of the woods? I don't know. I'm going to press X to doubt on that one.
Author screaming.
This will protect us. Also, when it makes noise, the whole house shakes.
all right, so when Emma says like that Mark is in the safest place that he could be right now, he's in pretty much like in the woods in Colorado. The thing is, though, what she's saying, like, I probably get that this could be I'm not even sure that this could be if this is more of like a type of like sort of snide remark or a joke, or if it's like an actual legit criticism when they would say like, oh, I doubt that he's that safe in the middle of the woods. Like,
it's because the scene has like the two meanings. Obviously, it's the bit where your initial take on it is Madison's asking, "Oh, is Dad going to be all right out in the woods, wherever?" And then Emma's saying, "Oh, he's in the safest place he can be because," and then you're supposed to interpret it as he knows wildlife. He's used to working with wildlife and whatnot, so he's perfectly fine out there. It's probably safer than being with people because he absolutely hates people at the minute. But then in the retrospective understanding of this scene, she's saying he's in the middle of nowhere, away from any major city where the Titans will probably aim for. So she's saying he's in a very safe spot away from where the Titans are.
Yeah, basically like where a potential Titan could appear.
Yeah, and as they said at the beginning of this video, they have all watched this film before, so they understand both angles of this conversation, and yet.
Yeah, and yet, and also considering that Emma, her plan, with Al and Jonah is to wake up the Titans gradually, one at a time. It's fair to come to the assumption that she pretty much knows what Titans are out there and where they are, and if they pretty much know where Mark is, or at least like in a general idea where he could be, then or even if she doesn't know, this would still be a reassurance to Madison no matter what, because that's kind of what a mother needs to do, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can talk to animals, roll them.
Can we tell the pandas to start fucking? Who could this be?
Mothra's just fucking Godzilla's bitch, basically.
By the way,
Oh god!
Like they must have been.
Oh boy.
Mothra being Godzilla's bitch.
They just don't understand anything. I mean, in the film, they don't understand. Mothra is Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
In the film, it's more so a friendship dynamic. The problem is everything after that completely misunderstood it. Oh freaking Lord!
It's like, if he just knows Mothra from this film, Mothra is Godzilla's tag team partner. I don't understand where they get she's his bitch from. And then if you watch historically, Mothra is often Godzilla's. Well, funnily enough, Godzilla's often fighting Mothra. So in terms of Mothra is usually winning.
This thing wants to be born.
This thing wants to be born.
Wants to be born. Is that how that works?
I'm being sarcastic. He's saying it like typically things don't want to be born.
That's how you get orphans.
Oh no!
They didn't really want to be born, but yeah.
Also,
It's funny that this point was brought up in the debate.
Yeah.
What was
funny.
it? Oh yeah. We had the long discussion about, like, for one, sedatives and whether or not they'd work. So yeah.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
you know, like the guy is saying Mothra wants to be born, and the fact that it's like, well, yeah, I mean, she's going to be fighting off the sedatives pretty much, especially when she's becoming more active.
Yes. Yeah, that's how an embryo develops. That's how...
If you're like in a early embryonic state and they're putting sedatives in, you know, then or something like that, then it would be one thing. But you know, how long could sedatives like really like last, or could be pumped into something before the thing could just end up being much more resistant to it, where it's like, so yeah.
It's also just like it's a phrase that gives you the impression that the things that they are trying to stop it from being born aren't working. It's clearly resisting against any attempt to stop it. It just gives you the impression that, oh yeah, this thing is really trying. There's a lot of whatever it's doing, it's really trying. It's just that it just gives you that impression of it, rather than like explaining it for this is the will of the creature for like fighting. No, it just gives you the impression of just how hard they're trying and how much it's not working.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. You're right. It is cocoon thra.
Larv thra.
Caterpillar thra.
Shut the fuck up.
Bruh.
Okay.
Bruh.
Yeah. Okay.
Bruh.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Oh no.
You go over there. That's not fatal.
You okay, Frank? He's like,
yeah, that's not fatal. Here, go over to that predetermined web that's over there for a reason.
I don't get like
again.
Oh, so controversial. It works like it's a bot.
You saying
again? It's just like, yeah, Mothra throws a bloke into a spider web, a giant spider web, by the way. There's a bloody great big spider there. But and he goes, "Hey, look, he's thrown him into a spider web."
Yeah.
And
but
yeah.
Silk spewing is a thing that Mothra does. This just adds to it.
Yeah, EFAP skipped over Mothra getting upset. Yeah, they skipped over the context for why Mothra started becoming hostile in the first place. And yeah, you would think that considering that Wolf, like I'm assuming Wolf was like the one who kind of like put these videos together at the time, like including this one, because I think he was the one that put the annotation about the wolves there. You'd think that he would have had access to the film, you know, and access to their commentary, and had been able to spot that scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's bizarre.
It makes me wonder whether they missed it, whether they were just talking. They weren't talking about it. They didn't say anything about it, so they didn't include it in the video because they just didn't acknowledge it. Or maybe they did, and then as they were editing it, they went, "Oh, let's just cut this bit out to make it look worse." Who knows?
Yeah,
that's operating on bad faith. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to assume bad faith in this, but I do think that. But if that was the case, then that would just kind of go against like their standards of like, you know, when they critique like other people's videos of like, wait a minute, you had access to the movie, like access to that scene that completely contradicts your point there. Why are you actively ignoring it?
Why actively skip something like that to make your point, to try to portray a film worse?
Oh, don't you worry. Don't you worry. It's not like they don't do that multiple times. Another thing I wanted to point out, they keep on going about the length of the fights. Again, this is in my video, so you probably saw. Was it in that one? Or was it in another? I've done it multiple times, so God knows where I've included it. But just pointing out the length of the fights, and they talk about the fact that it's only about X amount of time for these fights taking place, or whatever. And I think in one of my videos, I compared it to a John Wick fight, and I compared it to an Ip Man fight.
Yeah, it's your response video. 2 minutes. Yeah, you mentioned it in your response video.
Yeah. All right, I'm back.
I did it in another video. I can't remember which one it was, but there's a fight in Ip Man, which is like the fight in Ip Man, and I remember it going on and on and on for ages. I'm thinking, oh wow, this would be really interesting to compare this fight with the King of the Monsters fight, just to see how long it is. The fight in Ip Man is about the same length as the contiguous shot in King of the Monsters. So not even the entire fight in King of the Monsters, just the one single contiguous shot. And it's really surprising when you do that comparison. It's like Ip Man has this fight that is just shorter. Like categorically, mathematically, it's shorter. And then people say, "Oh, there's not enough fighting in King of the Monsters." How can you say that when you've got this to compare to?
I would probably say it's a similar thing to the whole Godzilla 2014 screen time comparison with Darth Vader. The thing is, with Darth Vader, it feels like they make use of the screen time. Dude has less screen time in A New Hope than Godzilla does in 2014. So, but it doesn't feel like it. They don't really make as much use of it. Personally, I think that's bullshit. Pardon my language again, but the fact, but still, it's like, but I think that's the sentiment where that comes from.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It's entirely subjective.
Yeah, I disagree with the sentiment, like I said, but
Binary, you just turn it on and it works, and it's like you should probably have had this set up anyway.
Why couldn't she use it from inside? Oh, a female. I better not hurt her because I don't want to get me too'd. I'm only 4 minutes old.
If Bob
I don't
was
want to have my
smart
career
enough to
ruined.
recognize like weaponry, it'd be like, what is this that she's doing? She's clearly fiddling with something.
Oh my goodness! What could
Again,
this be? Is it mind
again. You were saying about skipping the scene. I wonder if they skipped the bit where they showed the guys attacking her with the guns, so that when you get to this bit in the video where they're like, "Oh look, they're not attacking her. Why aren't they attacking her? She's clearly got something." Is that to bolster their lines here?
If so, that's stupid. That's just stupid.
I mean, this is me being very bad faith and like making assumptions. But when you've got this line here where they're like, "Oh, she attacked the guys with guns earlier, but she's not attacking Emma with the orca. Why isn't she?" And they've deliberately left out the bit where the guys with the guns attack Mothra. It really does make you think that they've done that deliberately.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous that they pretty much say like, "Oh, I can't." Oh, Mothra's all like, "Oh, I can't attack this woman here, or else I get me too'd." It's like, first of all, Mothra is a woman or girl in this movie, so think that. And second of all, oh yeah, Me Too joke. Yeah, really.
I've also got there's the whole theory about this, like Mothra's waking up, and this is a Mothra that's inherited the memories of the mother Mothra, based on like just how Mothra works in other films, and you get the sense of like Emma's walked in and she's knelt down, and you're like, this is very much like what a worshipper would do. Considering they're in a temple, it's like you can imagine Mothra would remember like worshippers doing exactly this. Just the difference is that when Emma gets down, she's not singing to Mothra, or when she does. Well, the noises she does make with the orca aren't the ones that Mothra's expecting.
Right.
Right, but for some reason Mothra's taking ages. It's like, Uh-oh, wrong one. She dodged it.
How does it miss? It hit everybody else on the first try.
Do you remember the guy?
Based off of Mothra's trajectory, she wasn't really going to hit it. And even then, the silk was unexpected. I would argue the silk for the guys who were caught, that was unexpected. So
yeah, Emma deliberately dodged. Also, again, they skipped it. Mothra like slams the floor at one point when Emma's approaching, and it really looks like Mothra's like frustrated.
Yeah,
and I really like that little touch. She's just like Mothra's watching Emma go, and she goes bang on the floor, like hurry the fuck up or something, whatever. Mothra's clearly frustrated with something we don't know what.
Yeah, or Mothra is, and you could even one could even say like perhaps Mothra was even, you could even say that perhaps Mothra was doing like a warning shot at Emma, pretty much of just like
that's exactly how I'd interpreted it. She's clearly like I'm really annoyed. Don't come near me. Or if my interpretation is right, she's like kneel the fuck down, peasant.
Down to me, peasant.
Actually, to be fair, like Emma was playing the wrong frequency, so Mothra kind of took that as hostile, as like a something that she doesn't recognize and could be hostile towards. So actually,
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
That got hit by it that spread all around him. It's like how? Also, oh my god. And she managed to open it and close it, preventing him. It's like, get someone else's key, you retard.
Yeah.
You're the only one. Also,
I will help you if I stand here with you.
I was gonna say she doesn't do it. Oh no, wait, does she solve it? I can't remember.
She's trying to get her mother's attention and take her out.
yeah.
That's why she ran in there, to get her mother out of the situation.
Yes. And Madison was quick enough to get that key card and open the door and get to her. That's.
Can I just say so I'm going to say, can I just say a lot here? Something about the MonsterVerse films, specifically Killing the Monsters, makes critics stupid. I don't know what it is, but they all seem to they start watching this film and then their brains leak out of their ears and they start saying stupid shit.
Yeah, even
Sorry. Something like the Wingard movies, fine, okay, fair. That's completely understandable. In fact, I agree with a lot of the criticisms nowadays, but here, bruh, what the heck?
There's visual cues going on and they just ignore them.
Yeah.
I think it's also the fact
there's some audio ones later that they ignore as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We'll get to that.
Oh, boy.
This is.
2 for the price of
by the way,
1!
This is such a, fucking brain-dead progression. Mothra fired left and they dodged right. Mothra fired right and they dodged left, which means there's only one place left to hide and shoot. Center. They're fucked.
We're blue now.
She wasn't shooting.
Oh, yeah, touch it. Yeah, just go ahead. Just fucking touch it.
Oh, isn't it radioactive? Isn't that a thing about all these monsters?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like touching the graphite.
My head! Fucking hand melts off. It's like,
What a thing to pause on.
Oh my god.
It's our friend now.
I mean, functionally speaking, yes. Yes, it is a friend.
Oh, yeah, did you notice they mentioned the light? Red now, blue now, whatever he said.
Oh no, Charles' dad, so no.
Oh, no, my spine's definitely broken.
Remember, she's on board with this. The scientist lady, so she's cool with all these guys getting obliterated. But I don't get it. How is she okay with this? Look at that, it's like her scientist friend.
I feel like we should mention the whole scientist getting killed a bit.
Yeah, we should.
It's like we know that she's not all right with it, but she accepts it because it needs to be done for her plan to take place, and we know that she talks to the guy before the whole scene starts to try and get him to leave, which is the most she can do in the situation. We know this. EFAP, who have just watched it, don't.
Yeah.
They claim to have seen it twice. How did you not pick up on that?
Yeah, once in the theater and now here. So
that's the thing. Is like if you watch it here, you can just say, okay, they're drunk, they're talking amongst themselves, they're not really paying attention when stuff is happening. They're just missing loads of stuff because they're not actually watching the film properly.
They're not taking.
They've watched it twice. So what were they doing the first time?
You just learned this shit out 10 minutes ago.
I was about to say, it's what do you mean 5th grade? This is brand new shit.
Yeah, nobody knows any of this.
Bernard was tasked with finding and destroying these radioactive monsters.
Oh, the radioactive? Oh, yeah.
Oh. You want to make Godzilla our pet?
No.
No.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's fucking retarded.
You silly goose.
Dr. Serizawa, Dr.
Not really.
I'm just gonna walk out of the sim.
It's not. Really annoys me when Blackaroonie and CGF. I think they mentioned this as well. It's like that's a really stupid thing for him to say. It's like, not really. I mean, just think about it. It's like in terms of scale, we would be his pets. Just in terms of scale, we would be Godzilla's pets.
Okay, thanks, bro.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, that's actually a big deal because this is the Senate. Like, this is actually a massive deal.
We had like a how long was that discussion? I think it was like a half-hour discussion about that. 20-minute half-hour discussion.
It was quite a long discussion, yeah. And I still think that I was really annoyed thinking about it after the fact because I may have got slightly annoyed. I don't know if anyone picked up.
Yeah, you did get a little annoyed.
I know I went absolutely nuclear on Black and CGF at one point, so there was that.
Because the thing that annoyed me about because a lot of the stuff that they come up with is basically good faith and bad faith stuff, and they go with bad faith. They take all the little like bits like this where they've clearly thrown in this line at the end of the scene to give everybody an out. So like, oh, clearly they've done something. They might be in contempt of court or whatever the Senate equivalent is.
And he's still going to talk with his colleagues.
Yeah,
and they throw in this line at the end to give that an out, so that people can go, oh, look, they've done something there.
Yeah,
they don't want this film doesn't want to spend ages talking about it.
Yeah,
that's why I went nuclear. It's like, okay, yes, realistically, Sam, Serizawa, and Graham would not be able to do this, but is it enough for the audience to believe to say, okay, let's move on?
Yeah, and not to mention, I even pointed out in the debate that Sam didn't even look at Graham's phone, so he doesn't even know why they're leaving. Like that's why he says, "Let me confer with my colleagues," so that he could get the information as well. Yeah. So as well as like try to find it out. So.
And this is why I kind of got really annoyed with Blackaroonie, because he said, "Oh, I've spoken to a lawyer about this," which then gives you the impression that he's the sort of point of authority on the matter. He then describes the scene without including this line, which kind of turns the entire scene to a very different. It makes the scene very different if you exclude this line. He also completely misinterpreted what the Senate said about Monarch telling them stuff, because the Senate says they haven't told us about the monsters. So the Senate don't actually know what's going on with the monsters. So when Blackaroonie's saying, oh yeah, they've committed treason, it's like, well, the Senate doesn't know that. So they can't. How can you include that judgment in their punishment when the Senate don't actually know what they've done? You can't punish them for something they haven't found out yet.
To his point, to defend his point, actually, arguably speaking, it would probably still be treason regardless of whether or not, because that's a way of saying the Senate never knew about how many there are. They knew monsters existed. That's the entire reason Monarch exists.
Yeah, but you can't send someone to prison on the assumption that we think you've killed people, so we're going to send you to prison for life. Is that, well, have you proved that I've killed people? No, but we're still going to send you to prison. That's essentially what Blackaroonie was coming up with here. The Senate are saying, we do not know how many monsters there are, and you're not telling us. We need you to tell us, or we're going to start investigating, then find out, and then like prove to the fact that you're hiding it from us, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's usually like
they're at that stage. And then, I think the bit that made me explode was just Blackaroonie dropping in the fine aspect of it. Like they could have been fined all the way through. He was saying, "Yeah, they're going to be fugitives. They're going to be in prison. They're going to be arrested, and all this lot." And then he randomly mentioned a fine, and I was just like, "So the actual interpretation of this scene is the Senate think Monarch have done something, but can't prove it because they haven't investigated it. Then Monarch then walks out. Sam Coleman says, "Oh, hold on a minute, I'll go have a chat with them." You could then quite plausibly interpret the scene as Sam Coleman goes out, finds out about the terrorist attack, walks back in, tells the Senate about the terrorist attack, and the Senate says, "Okay, off you go, but we're still going to have to fine you for walking out." And then that's the scene. That's it. It's done. Sorted.
Yeah, that's not. And even then, it's like I said, it's not meant to be a one-to-one realistic thing. It's meant to be. Can you believe? It's meant to be a excuse for them to leave, while still giving some lighthearted, while still giving a lighthearted jab.
Yeah, it's entirely that one line there is entirely for the audience to go, okay, I can understand that something probably happened here. That's all it needs. That's all it needs. They do get people like Blackaroonie and Rags down here saying, "Oh God, they're going to be in so much trouble." We need, then they just ignore this line and make it the scene much worse than it actually is.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, later on in the film, we find out that the military has, like, taken, commands.
I mean, that as well, yeah.
Operation. Anyway, so, yeah, Monarch did get punished for walking out of the Senate meeting. So, yeah, there is consequences there. The film literally shows us that.
And you'd imagine the rest of the Monarch stuff was completely ignored after, the giant 3-headed dragon showed up out of Antarctica.
That's actually an interesting thing I thought about after our discussion, because it's if Blackaroonie, let's just say Blackaroonie's interpretation was completely true, Monarch is arrested for treason, and Serizawa, Graham, and Coleman get imprisoned. Monarch is shut down. The military take over. Oh, look at all these monsters that they have, like either asleep or like sedated or whatever around the world. Let's just shove oxygen destroyers down their throats whilst they're sleeping and kill them. And they do that one by one by one by one. Maybe Godzilla gets involved. He gets oxygen destroyed. He goes to sleep somewhere. And then they get to Ghidorah. And they do that to Ghidorah. And he wakes up.
I actually don't think they wouldn't have been able to based off of the timeline of events. They wouldn't have been able to get to Ghidorah by the time the terrorists were able to awaken him.
I suppose there is that. Well, yeah. I suppose you'd have to take out the terrorist element as well. So just remove that from the story and just have it. That could be a whole film unto itself. Wouldn't that be a hell of a thing?
Yeah, the thing is, the entire plot of this film is kickstarted because of the terrorist stuff. If they were not allowed to leave, they wouldn't be able to deal with any of that. And Alan Jonah's already in Antarctica with Emma and Madison helping him out. Monarch, if that's shut down, they would not be able to stop him. They wouldn't be able to do anything to stop him. Thus, bombs go kaboom, Ghidorah comes out of the ice, it's the end of the world.
King of the Monsters is a very complicated mix of storytelling that's going on. Lots of narratives being mixed together and sewn together. And yet, somehow, they all still work if you start jumbling up the pieces.
Colo Ratatouille.
There.
Oh, look.
Yeah, pause it right here. All right, so in the scene, we see Mark, observing wolves out pretty much in the middle of out of plains or wherever. And Wolf puts up there saying, "Fun fact: wild wolf packs have not been seen in Colorado since 1940, when they were officially eradicated from the state."
I have no idea if that's true.
There is it is quote unquote true, and well, this is the thing. He's like, the next play and keep playing it for a few seconds.
Lots of wolf
eating his pizza. Your pizza.
And then pause it.
Pizza.
The director, Michael Dougherty, claims the movie is set in the present day, where this fact has not changed.
This threw me when I first started looking into this, because I saw this clip. I was like, oh, so the source, which is everything you need to know about Godzilla King of the Monsters, talks about the whole wolf thing, maybe? So I looked it up, found the website, started going through all their blogs, could not find anything about wolves anywhere in these articles. Turns out that source is purely referencing Dougherty saying it's in the modern day. The wolf thing is completely unrelated to that source. So then I started looking up the wolf thing, and I literally typed into Google Wolves Colorado or Wolf Colorado, and yeah, the first link is Wikipedia saying, yeah, wolves were eradicated in the 1940s. They were hunted to extinction in Colorado because people didn't like them. It's like, okay, cool. So that's that. Every single link after that is one news website after another saying Wolf spotted in Colorado. Wolf spotted in Colorado. Wolf spotted in Colorado. A pack of wolves have been spotted in Colorado. Year after year after year after year. There's just constant invasions from other states and Canada because there's like a vacuum, a power vacuum in Colorado. Other wolves are then popping in to be like, oh, I'm just going to go in here because there's no competition. So then and this is happening in real life. Wolves are coming to Colorado to do that, and people are reporting on it. The funny thing is, when King of the Monsters was being made, there was a whole discussion about repopulating Colorado with wolves. They wanted to reintroduce them, and there was a whole discussion about it. And literally, I think it would be a month later, after the film came out, whilst this discussion was going on, a pack of wolves was spotted in Colorado, setting up shop. They were living there. They had moved in, started living there, and started having puppies there. So it's like it's fascinating that Wolf, who's probably making this video at the time that this was happening, is saying, "Oh, there's no wolves in Colorado," at the exact same time that a bunch of wolves have just moved in and started like having a family there.
So would you say that EFAP here is objectively wrong?
Yes.
By the way, Katsubu F29 says, you would know wolves are eradicated from Colorado for sure if you had a tracker on every wolf in North America. Exactly. If you had a tracker on every wolf in North America, and Freshly Mad says, which is impossible, it's like... Yeah, there are several instances throughout history that you have like animals that were once thought to be extinct or pretty much no longer inhabiting like another, one part of like part of the world. They pretty much start coming back at some point or another without people even realizing it, And meanwhile, you got Mark, Mark Russell, who tracks wolves. He would know this stuff.
Yeah.
In case you were wondering how much research they bothered putting into this terrible movie.
Ironic! I mean, yeah, just the discussion we just had, the fact that if he bothered to press into Google Wolf Colorado, he would have seen all the news articles about it, and the one that's come out recent, at the time of this video was recent. And I'm willing to let go of, like, Mauler Rags and Gentle Cum Handler here, from saying that this film is terrible, this film is stupid, all that sort of thing, because they're drunk, because they're not properly paying attention to it, because they have biases which they've started watching this film with. I am willing to let those comments go because they're not taking it seriously. But Wolf, as I'm guessing it's Wolf who edited this video.
Yeah.
Or whoever edited this video.
Or
he's
whoever.
Doing this post all of this. He's putting it in afterwards. And him saying this terrible film is his actual, I'm guessing, sober opinion of this film. And it just really annoys me because there's no longer an objective opinion being put into this. There's no longer someone putting here's the facts and figures. What? No, this is somebody with a straight face going, yeah, this film's terrible, and putting it into print. Which, again, because he's so badly wrong, makes him look fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Rant over.
Yeah. In case you were wondering how much research EFAP bothered putting into this terrible video.
Oh,
Lord.
Are you coming? I was about to say.
Right.
What the fuck?
The reason
What?
he designed the orca, right? He knows how to listen to I didn't want to be involved in this job.
I just wanted to fucking jerk off to the wolves.
The hell?
Oh, by the way, did you guys catch that? They pretty much really said they go on to pretty much say about Mark being the guy who created the orca or helped Emma create the orca.
Yeah.
So, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. We're not done with it yet.
They were after this.
Wait, what?
The catwalk?
Hand swipe.
I know what the hell it is. I helped build a prototype.
Don't they know that?
Who is he? Sam Coleman.
Yeah, wouldn't they know that?
So that was the whole reason they came to him.
He's the awkward one. He's super funny.
Hey, pause for a second.
I cannot.
Okay, so Cinemas's mic gone out for a second. This was kind of highlighted in his video where they or one of his videos where EFAP here start talking over like Sam Coleman explaining like who he is pretty much to Mark and that he came in after Mark left. Sam Coleman's the tech guy at Monarch. So he would know that Emma pretty much had worked on the Orca and perfected it, or perfected the prototype for it, and they're relaying this information to Mark since he needs to know about it, and by extension, us, the audience. Okay, so in case you missed anything, Cinemas, we've just gone over to the part where they're talking over Sam Coleman explaining about where they're just explaining to Mark about what's going on with Emma and the Orca. Oh
god, yeah. This is considering how important this scene is for basically everything that happens with the film, and they just talk all over the top of it.
It's guys. Pay attention, damn it!
I do also want to point out that in other films, even in films like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and stuff like that, they will defend and even praise some of the lines in films like that. Just dialogue between characters. But then here, it's like, characters talking to each other. Getting some character stuff done and some plot stuff done. Nope, they're just talking all over the top of it because it's really boring, guys. It's really boring.
Yeah. Oh, wait! I can't wait for the monster action that'll happen in 25 minutes from now. Oh
my god! I dread if they, for some ungodly reason, decide to do any other Godzilla movie, especially Final Wars. Oh my goodness!
They've been talking about the possibility of it.
They've been talking about doing the Godzilla arc, and when they were talking about it, they said, "Oh, we should do all the Godzilla films. Like the 54 one, the 98 one, the 2014 one." I'm like, "Sorry, what? What do you mean the 98 and 24? What about all of the others? None of those?
Just ignored several. Oh my god." Oh my god.
70 years of films. 70.
70, yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot of movies to ignore.
You're going to be responsible for 1,000 San Franciscos, which is why we need to get...
One of the biggest things that I want to point out, because hilariously, I was rewatching some of the KOTM criticism videos for that debate, and I stumbled across CinemaSins' video, and he was discussing the whole whispering thing, which, oh god, his channel's a mess. It's called Tranquil Fury. Y'all ever heard of that?
Yeah. He's clearly angry, and he's just like it. That's how the emotion gets across. It's just he's not shouting all the time. He's so angry.
I'm pissed.
Oh boy!
And the fact that even if it isn't, he does that for most of the film. His character does that for most of the film. It's just like when he's talking, he talks quite quietly. So that's just his character. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and even when he does yell, he doesn't go over the top.
Yeah. It's not.
He's just a quiet character.
It's not like Bruce Baxter, played by the same guy from the 05 King Kong. It's a very different performance in that situation. He's far more exaggerated as a character.
Yeah,
it's almost like this guy's a good actor.
Yeah. He's playing an actor in that movie.
I know, right? From the 30s, where there's a lot of eccentricity pretty much going on because that's just kind of how cinema was back in those days. Because it's like the early stage of like sound cinema. Like they're just transitioning out of silent era where they're like a lot more Where in the silent era, you got to be a lot more expressive in order for audiences to get what the characters are feeling or saying. Pretty much, they're just kind of, And in the 30s, like right around when Peter Jackson's King Kong is set, which is also conveniently, oddly enough, when the original King Kong was released, there's a lot more. It's a lot more stagey, pretty much.
Yeah, sound is a thing by that point, so you're gonna have to deal with that in your performances. So
yeah.
I was gonna say
don't open up with the fact it's been stolen.
Hold on a second. They did open that up with it being stolen. That's exactly what they showed them with the security feed.
They were showing him camera footage.
You guys are watching this. What the actual
that scene showing him camera footage? What?
God!
I completely missed that. Oh my god!
Holy shit!
Again, they're just not paying attention at all.
No, they're not.
Think about all Minecraft World. Just to let you know, when I actually pointed this out in my video, EFAP and everybody who's on EFAP often use the phrase, "Did you even watch the film?" They will use that a lot when watching people's videos who are discussing one piece of media or another.
Yeah.
When they say something incredibly stupid, one of the things they will say is, "Did you even watch that? Were you even watching it?" And now we're watching this. it's clear that they were not watching it.
Support CGF movies. God damn it!
But it's fallen into the wrong hands. And right now, the Orca...
The irony being that it hasn't actually, technically speaking, because she's just evil as well.
I'm sure they establish very realistic reasons that are solidly grounded as to why she turns evil.
It's not really evil, right? Because the monsters represent Mother Nature trying to cure the earth of human. Even though
movies disappoint me when they talk about how terrible humans are, because I'm a human. I feel like a little conflict of interest here.
You're completely misunderstanding the themes of the movie and Emma's motivation.
Everybody does this. Everybody. I don't understand it. How do they get it wrong? It's really obvious. She's the villain. So when she's saying, "Oh yeah, human beings are going to destroy the world because we're all shit, so we need to get the Titans up to start evening things out." One, she never says destroy all humans. She says to balance nature. And two, she's the villain.
She's not a character that we're supposed to agree with.
Yeah, Vic says, "I always figured her motivation was driven by grief and finding a way to make Andrew's death mean something, a way to cope with the loss."
Yes.
It works with that regard. Especially, I think if you look at it from that end, it also explains why she thinks her plan would work and why she underwent that mentality. It's sort of you could probably say it's a, what's the word? Excuse for the fact that for her actions due to grief. Like, humanity itself is doing blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you get what I mean.
Well, the point the film is trying to make is the duality of weirdly Blackaroonie and CGF did this. Mark Russell is the straightforward oh, Godzilla did this, he's bad, I'm gonna blame him for this. Even though it's Mark's own grief and self-blame for not saving his son. He's then projecting his grief and self-blame onto other things, i.e. Godzilla, which is the very straightforward take. Godzilla is to blame for all this. He's the problem. And the film explicitly states by Emma and by Mark. Mark says it's not just all math. You can't just math everything out. And Emma says, "I looked deeper into the film." She says, "I looked deeper and found the root cause," which, again, I think I explained it in the debate. It's if you go from Godzilla killed their son, why did Godzilla kill their son? Because he was fighting the Mutos. Why were the Mutos up and about? Because one of them woke up from Janjira. Why was he in Janjira? Because a mining company dug too deep and too greedily, dwarves cough, and woke them up. It's like, so from that root cause, you could say it's the humans fucking around with nature.
Even if there are laws even if there are laws in place, I was actually discussing with this in the chat during that debate. Even if there are laws in place, that's still damage that to an extent. Like strip mining, we looked at the causes. We looked at what that does to the environment. It creates infertile soil. Trees literally cannot survive on soil that was affected by strip mining. So even if there are laws in place, that's still a damage to the environment. Granted, it's not to the extreme that some people claim. It's still damage.
Yeah, because there's no soil left. It's just bare rock, so you can't have the same vegetation and whatnot growing there that was before. There was Fresh Madge just said there was a strange dissonance there. If Emma was mourning Andrew, then her actions just seemed like petty spite. It's the film is trying to present it as Emma going in the complete opposite direction with her suffering her grief by trying to find like a positivity from it. And her idea was, oh, well, people are causing the problem, therefore I need to stop people causing those problems again. So, and then her solution is, well, if I wake up the Titans to then stop people doing that sort of stuff in the first place, like being preemptive rather than reactionary, then stuff like that can't happen again. And that's meant to be her mentality, which is you see in the film, is like, if we wake the Titans up, then they can do all these things and everything will be happy. We can dance around holding hands, going la 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 around the Titan's leg. That's the sort of thing she presents in the film. And everybody points out to her that that's kind of insane. And they do. All the characters in the film say, you're fucking mental. What are you doing?
Including the other main villain.
Yeah, Alan Jonah pretty much literally his counter to Madison is like, what exactly did your mother tell you? That you think man and monster were going to dance to live together in blissful harmony?
Which Blackaroonie and CGF got wrong because they said he was saying that to Emma. He wasn't. He was saying that to Madison. As a sort of like, oh, what did she tell you?
Yeah.
Attracting them, repelling them.
So tell me more about the work that I did. Tell me more about my device.
That is not the work that he did.
Wait, who's that over there? Oh, that's...
He's saying, hey, look at the thing that she made after, again, this, a lot of people seem to, again, mostly YouTube critics, seem to miss this, and it's something I really love about the writing. When he says, oh, we destroyed the Orca, and she said, yeah, Emma rebuilt it when she went home, and you see Mark react to that statement, but he doesn't say anything. You then get to this scene where Graham says, oh, so when was the last time you saw Emma? And he says, 3 years ago when we went back home, at which point you see her face go like, oh, shit. Because she's explained to him, oh yeah, when Emma went home, she made the Orca. And then he's saying to her, yeah, so I went home too. So it's basically saying that, yeah, she made the Orca whilst he was there, but he didn't notice because he was drunk off his head. Which just adds to his guilt.
Yeah.
This is the thing that what I think is brilliant about it is that they both went home together. He started drinking, which he says here, I started drinking. And then he says, and then one day I noticed I didn't like the way Madison, or he didn't like the fact that Madison saw me like this. Something like
I can't tell you how mad I am for letting Maddie see me like this. That's the one.
Yeah.
I want to make a video called The Tragedy of Joe and Mark, because their stories are surprisingly similar in terms of like them getting stuck in their grief. And I want to explain Mark's story because so many people don't get it, even though it's explained in the film.
Joe,
and especially this bit here where they're saying, oh, explain to me the work that I've done. And it's like, that's not his work. That's Emma's work with his thing.
It's entirely possible that she modified. It was a prototype. It wasn't the finished product.
Yeah, and he thought it was destroyed pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another line that people again don't seem to notice. He says that was a grad school project. And people say, "Oh, who is this Mark character?" I don't know. I think they even say it in this video. They say, "I don't know who this guy is. Who is he?" And he specifically says that was a grad school project, and a grad school is is that a master's degree level. So, I mean, Emma in this film is called Dr. Russell. And Mark was on the same course as her. They're both doctors, potentially. Almost certainly based on the Orca being what it is, that doctorates in engineering. So they're both master engineers.
Okay. Just for clarification, Freshman says no. He helped making the Orca while sober. It's just that he wanted to destroy it. Okay, thanks for the correction, man. All right, yeah, he wanted to. It wasn't destroyed. Like it was never destroyed.
No,
he
I'm
wanted.
sure he says he destroyed it.
No, he said like I thought it was destroyed. And
because he says it's a grad school project. I destroyed it and Emma rebuilt it.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did say that. It's like I destroyed it, and Emma said, and then they said, and Emma rebuilt it. Okay, all right, okay. Oh, by the way, Minecraft World, the Joe whom CNMS here is referring to is Joe Brody, Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston's character. Okay.
And Vic says Joe. Vic answered saying Joe Mama.
Oh God!
Damn it, Vic!
Oh, I think my blood clot just regrew from that joke.
To track and study Godzilla on his own turf. I thought he was missing. Well, only if you don't know where to look.
What? Wait, what?
Godzilla's actually missing if you don't know where to look. It's like, well, yeah. If you don't know where he is, he's missing.
Alan Jonah.
It's Alan.
Alan.
Kind of the middle.
He's in the middle of this.
And again, it's just another example of them like making fun of something that is totally reasonable and can't really be made fun of, but they're still going to make fun of it anyway because they need stuff to make fun of.
Yeah, we got to reference Alan. We got to reference the Alan thing in Jurassic Park 3.
Frankly, I wouldn't say it's that bad, but still.
Yeah.
It's them going on about it's like, oh, Godzilla's missing. Well, only if you don't know where to look. They went, well, yeah, obviously. It's like, yes. I don't know why you're trying to make fun of that. Yes.
I don't know.
Something else is gonna crawl out.
Let me guess. I'm Mothra.
After it cocoons, something else is gonna crawl out. You're like, yeah.
Let me guess. A big moth.
I think that they want you to go after this Mothra so they can go after a real prize.
Why don't you just do both? You're the military.
No.
They're not the military, though.
They're not.
Yeah, they're not paying attention.
Both parties are not the military. Monarch has access to military resources, but they are not explicitly any nation's military.
No.
Did you guys watch the film?
You'll get the pause button ready. They're about to say something very stupid.
Yeah.
They're not 12 dudes.
No, they're just.
You know what they are doing? That's not just a specimen. I've got an ex-wife and a daughter out there. In case you forgot. No one.
Why are you looking at me? I didn't say anything. I didn't fucking say anything. I'm just sitting over here at this table.
I advise you.
They wake up.
There you go. So, again, they completely missed it because it's in the fucking film. Oh God, what's her name? The one in charge of their little military group. She's explaining things.
Yeah, Foster.
Foster, yes, thank you. God damn, my brain with names. She's explaining the situation, what they're going to do, and then Mark interrupts her, and Coleman leans across the table and says to him, look, just let them do whatever, and then Mark stands up and carries on talking. And that is what Mark is referencing when he leans over and says, in case you've forgotten, at Coleman. But because, again, Waller, Rags, and Cumhandler aren't actually watching the film, they completely miss that, and they just start going, oh, okay, why are you having to go at him for? Because he tried to stop Mark from saying things.
The funniest thing about this is that Mystery Science Theater was more competent.
Yeah,
far more competent, and at least funnier.
Yeah, and at least like Mission Science Theater 3000, well, the good kind, as in the ones pre-Netflix, they would more often than not tend to like let the movie kind of like go on before they say a joke, so that there's at least some context in the plot, so that they could add a punchline there when need to.
Yeah, like freaking like the ones that reviewed the Gamera films are more competent than the guys right here who are reviewing a Godzilla movie. Oh my god, one that's far better written than any of those Gamera movies that MST3K did.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I understand why we don't like this video.
No,
I get it.
Really.
We have 30 minutes left in this video, and I'm already ranting.
Well, we're going to be here a while, aren't we?
Yeah, gird your loins, folks.
I don't know specifically why. I'm pretty sure they say they just like want to get King Ghidorah up and running. But do you remember at one point in this film, a lady scientist is like, the plan was to wake them up one at a time, but King Ghidorah fucked everything up because he's the only one who can wake up others. He like screams at them and they wake up. And do you remember King Ghidorah also happens to be an alien? Like while the rest of them were born on Earth or something? I was like, were they just unlucky? They just woke up the one that could wake up all the other ones. It's like, damn.
Did we talk about this in the debate? Because I think we, if I recall, we did have a conversation about this in the debate.
Something along those lines, yeah.
Probably. I remember talking about this point. We talked about this briefly at one point. It was either this or Double Toasted's video. With why did they go for Ghidorah first? Because he's a new discovery. Because he's the most reasonable one to go for. He's an apex titan that can fight Godzilla.
Yeah, I think I said that bringing up Ghidorah because they think he's an apex titan. He's the most likely to cause the most amount of trouble for Monarch and keep them busy the most out of all the titans.
Yeah. Which is perfectly service. Honestly, that is a pretty decent plan.
It makes the most sense. It's like the plan as it's shown in the film. Wake up, use Mothra as a test subject because she's the smallest and youngest Titan that they've got around. So, testing the Orc on her will be quote unquote the safest. But then also once she's awake, that will keep Monarch distracted for a little bit whilst they fly off, and then once Monarch realizes, which Jonah says in the film, that it won't take them long to realize what's going on. Once Monarch find that out,
that's what Mark points out.
Mark points it out. But even if you take Mark out of the equation, Jonah says when they attack the Antarctic base, it won't take Monarch long to find out that they've done that. So Monarch will be on their way to Antarctica because they go, oh, yeah, they're in Antarctica. And again, even if they didn't go for Ghidorah the first time, if the terrorists just went around the world but actually no, that would make even more sense, because if the terrorists went around the world waking up the other Titans, the ones that have been around for longer and have more established bases in more public spaces, i.e. Rodan's volcano next to a city or town or whatever where people can bloody see it. If they went around to these places that are more public and more aware, the militaries of the world would start. But oh, fuck's sake! I've just thought of something else. Antarctica doesn't have a military.
Yeah,
Antarctica doesn't have a government.
Yeah,
there's no one there. That makes even more sense for them to go there.
There's no one there outside of like research facilities, and even then, those are barely armed.
Yeah, all there is people, some people guarding the place, and scientists, researchers, what have you.
A couple of penguins.
Yeah, a couple penguins. True.
Granted, there is the factoid of multiple countries laying claim to Antarctic locations, but even then, Monarch is an international organization. They are not affiliated with one country, so
yeah. Also, they have a very specific reason to be like have something set up there. Unlike other countries, they're just like, we want to like poke around in it and fuck with it, and it's like, no, stop it, you're not allowed. That's what the Antarctic Agreement is about, is so nobody can fuck with it. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
Monarch has a very specific reason to be going there and doing shit.
Yeah,
I think the entire world would agree.
Yeah, Vic has even pointed out that the Outpost 32, which is the Antarctica base, is pretty small, and there's no nearby populations. So it would make sense to, and since there's like no populations there, it'd be a lot easier for them to try to, obfuscate like any sort of activity in terms of researching Monster Zero, as they've codenamed Ghidorah, since he's a recent discovery, and they want to keep it as off the books as possible.
Yeah.
This makes even more sense. This is why I say Killing the Monsters, the more you look into it, the better it gets.
Yeah.
The even weirder thing is he doesn't die in this film, but apparently he's not in the sequel. I was like, so what was the point?
Yeah, he just leaves. He just isn't part of the movie anymore.
What was the point of Zemo? He didn't turn up in the next film.
That's not the fault of KOTM. That's the fault of the Wingard movies refusing to acknowledge KOTM outside of Ghidorah's existence.
Yeah,
and maybe the Orca.
Yeah, not even acknowledging like the after effects of Ghidorah's, like, also the shenanigans with the Mass Awakening, pretty much. Like that should, like, my God, can you imagine like if GVK or GXK pretty much played with those, like, sort of played with like how the world would have been afterward.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
The potential. I mean, and this is coming from someone who likes the Wingard films, subjectively speaking. I
enjoy them, but I'm not going to defend their writing. I am never going to defend their writing, especially GXK's. Goodness gracious!
Yeah, their writing is terrible. The thing I sort of shouted at there, but I just really wanted to harp on that. Him saying, "Oh, there's a villain in this film, but it doesn't appear in the next film. What is the point of having this villain in this film?" And I immediately thought of, what's Mauler's favourite film? Oh, well, favourite Marvel film. It's Captain America: Civil War. Who's the villain in Captain America: Civil War? Zemo. Does Zemo appear in any of the films after that? No. So by Mauler's arguments here, what was the point of Zemo?
Oh, well, here's the thing. Zemo didn't show up in another a future movie, but he did show up in a TV show only on Disney+.
To be fair, it was one of the ones that people actually liked, and then, well, liked, I say in quotes. The ones that people actually saw. So, there's that.
Well, but that's because it was like the second Disney Plus show.
Yeah, the TV show wasn't very good. I've heard the TV show isn't very good.
I watched it. I liked it at first. Rewatched it. Oh God, what happened?
No, they tried to launch an emergency beacon, but we cut them off in time.
They'll figure it out. Fire up the drills.
I forgot about that. So this is a facility, right? A bunch of people were in it. Our Charles Dance's people left their helicopter and immediately started shooting people. Apparently, they couldn't get a help message out. So
it's like a phone call.
It's just a fucking button on a computer, probably. But no, they couldn't do it in time, apparently. It's so fucking stupid.
Nope, can't do it.
All they need to do is show us, like, Charles Dance's people being like, hello, hello, and they all go in, they infiltrate, and then they shut everything down with one move, like, electronically. But they started shooting people from the moment they arrived. How could they not have got a help message out?
He's never been this close before, but you said he's lost if you knew where to fucking look for him.
Whoa.
Yeah, pause for a second.
Whoa.
I don't know what you're going, whoa. What are you going, whoa?
Godzilla's never been this close before. Yes. That's because he's a distant creature. He usually tends to leave things alone unless they're trying to shoot at him. Or he's stressed. Or both.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I was going pause on because they were talking about that whole scene where they're saying, oh, they got we just stopped them from getting the stress call out, and then Mauler goes on this whole quote-unquote theoretical change to the film where you see them walking in and saying hello to people and then they attack. Which happens in the film. That's what they do in the film. You see them walking out and saying hello to everybody and just walking in casually like they're just part of the group. And then sometime later you hear the guns going off. The film shows that. They even show it, even if you rewind this video, you'll probably see the clip of them doing that. And they just don't acknowledge it and even describe a scene that... They basically describe the scene that they missed to say, why didn't they do this? They did.
Yeah, and you know, like they're pretty much they're clearly like an efficient enough like terrorist group. They've been doing that for a while, you know, for sure, to where they'd be able to, you know, get into this facility pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'd love to pin these guys down and just be like, so when you said this, were you aware that this happened? And if you were, why did you say this very stupid thing?
Yeah.
He will if you keep those guns on him.
Oh yeah.
How does he know? How does he have a...
He concludes that they need to deactivate their guns to let Godzilla know it's all good.
And Godzilla's like, hey, wait a second. Make sure your finger's off the trigger and your muzzle is pointed in a safe direction before I get any closer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, son of a bitch. I'm sorry. Weapons, do not engage.
He's not going to see you.
He is going to see you.
Yeah.
He's a semi-aquatic. He's an amphibious, not biologic, not like... I was rewatching Bakarooni's stream about the other guy. Amphibious creature. He's going to be able to see underwater. He is biologically adapted to see underwater. Of course he's going to see that the guns are put away.
Again, they don't show in this video the guns swiveling out to point at Godzilla. They don't show that in this video. So when they say, oh, they can't see you putting the guns away, I think what he's saying, they can't see you putting your hands up, when clearly that's like the procedure for saying, like, yeah, we're no longer touching the guns. Look, we've put our hands up. We're no longer holding the guns. But for us, the audience, we know that the guns swivel out when they activate them. So we know when they deactivate them, they probably swivel back in. Which, yeah, Godzilla would say that.
Yeah, he would.
But again, they've not included it in the video, which is very convenient for his point here.
He is a creature biologically adapted for underwater movement. He is a semi-aquatic amphibious creature. Oh, not that he's not actually an amphibian, but he functions like one. Still, oh my god. Also to the thing of, how is he going to recognize that they're a threat? He's been shot at before. We see him visibly react to gunfire during the Golden Gate Bridge sequence in 2014.
Yeah.
He can feel damage. While it doesn't show, it will still hurt.
Yeah. It's also the thing of, like, just naturally, in nature, animals have, like, defensive measures where they will, like, stick things out at things they consider threats. So Godzilla seeing guns being pointed at him, even if he doesn't recognize it as a gun that's going to shoot him, he'll recognize it as, like, something that's being pointed at him in a defensive measure. So when they are no longer being pointed at him, he'll probably recognize it as, oh, they've calmed down a bit. Especially when the door was open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sort of like put his hands up for a second there as well. Like, yeah, all right, I'm out. I'm done.
I'm pretty sure Godzilla doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, why would Godzilla assume you guys are a threat? You're pathetic. They keep agreeing to this random civilians. Fucking
who are you?
Random civilian.
Functionally speaking, yes, to Godzilla's perspective, people are barely indistinguishable. Yet later, we see he recognizes Mark specifically.
They're saying this. They're saying this, that Monarch is listening to this random civilian. Mark worked with Monarch before leaving. He was a member of it.
Even they talked over that line.
Yes, they did. In fact, him having worked with Monarch before in the past, is in line with him. Does make sense because he would end up going on, which is one of the things that GVK at least gets right, in that he does end up coming back to Monarch as a more higher up figure, which after his event, his participation in the events of King of the Monsters. Yeah, it makes sense. Like, they would not let a random civilian be like a director or Monarch, or at least like a higher up in Monarch. If yeah.
Oh, I mean, the thing that really like cements like what his relationship with Monarch is, the fact that Serizawa and Graham and Coleman, who are theoretically the three top guys in Monarch, considering they were in the Senate. They went to Mark, and then Serizawa, especially, is referring to Mark by the first name. So he's not saying, "I'm sorry, Mr. Russell. Or Dr. Russell." He says, "I'm sorry, Mark." That shows familiarity.
They are familiar with each other. They're familiar with each other on a first name basis.
And even later in the film, which these guys would know because they've watched the film before, Mark and Serizawa are talking to each other about the relationship with the son, saying how the son always asked about Serizawa's watch, or they made the joke about the time of the watch. They talk about that later in the film, so that even further explains the relationship that Mark knows he's been.
Yeah.
31 minutes into the film, and there has not been a fight.
Wow, they jumped. Wow, they jumped.
Yeah, they jumped.
This prehistoric dinosaur monster.
Yeah, I want to keep in mind, folks, they jumped so far past it's pretty far ahead to where they literally skipped over the details about Monster Zero being off the books and being an alpha titan pretty much, and a whole bunch of details that would be pretty important later on.
Oh God. Dr. Slipper wishes he was this bad.
Yeah, if you could back up just a few seconds in case I talked over anything. So,
Like, guys, you're about to free an enormous prehistoric dinosaur monster alien. Like, maybe don't.
Why is your commanding officer leading the assault team?
Wasn't she like in charge of it?
Because they're the commanding. They're specifically designed for leading the military. At least the military regiment of Monarch.
Yeah, the G team.
G team. Thank you.
Just set up the bombs, blow it, and leave.
Look how long she has this shot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to take it because
I like it how there's only one shot fired, and everyone's like, okay, I guess we're not doing anything.
We're not going to react to that. Do they not even look for the sniper? Look at that! Look at that! This little bell pull.
You can clearly shoot him.
You can
not
shoot
in the
shoulder
face.
at the very least.
What the fuck? At this point, I remember in the theater, I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Can I pause it for a second? Okay, so the reason why Foster doesn't take the shot on him is because at first Jonah is on the move. Second, when Mark shows up, it's like a sudden thing. Mark then, not Monarch. Foster then shoots down Ash, who I think who was like, I think Alan Jonah's son, I believe.
In the original script, I think he's his son. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And so basically, Alan Jonah and his crew, they basically are now aware that there's a sniper because Mark did not fire his gun. So now then there's this standoff, which could result in potential gunfire, which would result in either Mark or even worse, Madison or Emma getting shot. So if Foster tried to fire on Jonah again while he's hiding behind cover, even if she gets him on the shoulder, it's not a guaranteed kill. It's not a kill shot.
There's also the fact that Jonah himself is guarded. So if she shoots him, they're gonna notice that guns were fired. So they could probably look up, see her, bang.
Yeah.
Also, like might shoot Mark.
Or that.
Yeah. Yeah, they might shoot Mark or the civilians, which would be Emma and Madison.
Yeah, they still think this at that time. They still think Emma and Madison are hostages, so they might just shoot the hostages out of just revenge. It's just anyone who says she should have shot him in that moment is so tunnel visioned. They need glasses.
Yeah,
I could have sworn they shooted it. I just remember laughing at a lot of it.
I think they do. I think they do.
Yeah, there it is.
There we go. Bullets at it.
Look at that.
It literally does not give a shit.
Oh yeah, she saves him, doesn't she?
No, actually,
I passed the compressor.
Yeah, press pause, please.
Like,
let's pause here.
I like the fact they say it doesn't look. It doesn't do anything. It clearly doesn't care. They say as they show the clip of Ghidra pausing and looking down at the soldiers shooting at him.
Yeah. Here's
clearly,
the thing.
it's doing something.
He notices them.
Yeah, that's why I pointed that's kind of a point I made in the debate about why Ghidorah's characterization is like as good as far as him being a villain goes. Like he didn't have to even acknowledge the soldiers, you know. He could have just like moved on and go to after a bigger target like the Osprey with with Mark and all the others in there. But no, he singles out those soldiers because, get this, Ghidorah is kind of a dick who likes causing death and pain where he can.
Like her.
Why didn't it use its lightning breath?
Come on, Godzilla,
because curious.
I can feel your frustration. I'm going to take this opportunity to get a drink. You two, tism about this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Ghidorah could also be playing, he curious, and not to mention Ghidorah, which knows that there's people in there, so he's kind of like sort of playing with his food, let's just say.
Yes.
Like, and again, Ghidorah's evil. He is evil. He wants to, like I said, cause pain. In fact, if anything, he probably even wants to. He's probably just tormenting these people in this scene because he knows that they're powerless against him. He's just like, yeah, what you gonna do? I'm gonna kill you. Oh, wait, no. All right, no. Am I gonna kill you? Am I gonna get you? No. He's doing something like that. Fucking hell.
Godzilla Singular Point is better than this video.
Oh, that.
And you know how much I hate Singular Point.
Oh no, I get you. I mean, but even then, I don't know. Oof. We'll watch the rest of this video. We'll see if that comes true.
That shot right there. Fuck yeah. Cool.
Oh, that's great. That's great. We only had to wait 42 minutes for it.
Oh, now we have to wait another like half an hour.
Probably.
This is the thing, man, right? We felt there was too much human shit, but when you draw attention to it, it's even worse.
All due respect, Colonel, you saw wrong. Okay, she wouldn't.
What? What? You saw wrong?
Several.
Like, no, I was right there. There's like 12 witnesses.
Here's the thing: just because there were 12 witnesses there, Sam Coleman wasn't one of them.
Sam wasn't in the room. 10 of those 12 witnesses aren't in this room at the moment.
Yeah,
we're on the enemy side.
Yeah, he's in denial of it because they're like, no, that can't be possible that Emma, is the one to have released Ghidorah.
Hang on, when he says 12 witnesses, who's he talking about?
Okay, Mark, Alan Jonah, his group of some
well, they're not. I was going to say they're not going to be like in the room, but they're going to be part of Mark. Potentially, he might be referencing the other soldiers, the like G team, but G team weren't there, so it's going to be Mark.
No, I think he's referencing her. No, because everyone who saw that was Madison, Mark, Foster, Jonah, and then his soldiers. And then Jonah's group. And
so none of them, only two good guys.
Yeah. two people.
Only two
who
good
are
guys
in
say
this
so.
room physically.
The dozen witnesses doesn't really make sense in this context, unless he is referring to Jonah's people, in which case he's being a fucking idiot. But there's actually something I wanted to point out here, which I found like really like. Again, the writing in King of the Monsters is really good, guys. It's really good. So Sam Coleman is the head of technology, which again he says earlier in the film, which these guys talked over, so they wouldn't have caught that. And he also mentions that he really likes Emma. He says, "I'm a big fan of your wife's work. Big fan of her work." And again, it's meant to be shown that, oh look, he's funny, he's awkward, ha ha ha. But that's also a prevalent point because the Orca is a piece of technology, and the fact that it's stamped with the Monarch logo on the top means that she must have got at least parts at least the audio files for the Titans from Monarch. She must have been that must have been okay. Potentially Monarch would have supplied all sorts of other bits for it, but the person who would have had to okay that would probably have been the head of technology. So Sam Coleman, who probably fancied Emma, or at the very least admired her, and is also in charge of the technology, would have been the one to give her the stuff to make the Orca work. So now that she's going to be using the Orca, when he's just been told, oh, she's a bad guy and she's going to be using the Orca to do bad stuff, he's going to be in a massive bit of denial, not only for, oh, she couldn't have done that, but also in the back of his head, oh shit, I okayed that. I should do my best to sort of put people off thinking that this is actually a thing in case I get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which again is in the film and is actual part of dialogue which they talked over and didn't pay attention to.
Which let's be real for a second. That concern is absolutely justified. By the way, Sam's actions here are completely understandable. One, based off his character, and two, what you just said.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, even just going outside of the personal stuff, like, considering that Monarch is already kind of in hot water in the legal sense, pretty much, just because of the fact that they're not really revealing information about where the Titans are to the government. It's hard for them to even imagine, like, how much shit they would all be in if word got out that one of their scientists is now being responsible for using a piece of tech to wake up Titans across the planet.
Yeah, this is just as bad or worse than Anthony's video. It's terrible. Oh my god.
These guys are normally so good at analyzing media that I can take their arguments, not having watched the bits of media they're talking about, I can take their arguments and just verbatim repeat them to people who have watched that piece of media and make those people double think their opinions. Yeah, that's normally how good they are at analyzing media. Yeah, and then for some reason they are so bad here.
Yeah, like Mahler's Multiverse of Madness video is like one of my favorite reviews, like online. Like it's probably like the best video to explain why that movie is such a colossal piece of shit. And to think that this is the same guy that would go on to make that we're seeing here, it's baffling.
When did this video release? When did this video release? Because I'm genuinely still in belief that the mindset that people had with kaiju movies during the Wilderness era has not yet ended. The fact that kaiju movies are no longer like even. Let me look at when this video specifically was released, because if it was 2019, if it was before -1, then yes.
Oh yeah, it's 2019.
Yeah, it's definitely before -1.
Okay, because if it was before -1, then that mindset absolutely still exists, and that might be a really May 28th, 2020. That's when it released. That's
Oh, it was a year later.
Yeah, it was a year after its release. Goodness.
Well, here's the thing. Technically, they may have recorded this probably before 2020, and the editing was sort of done, after.
Oh yeah, they do that a lot, don't they?
Yeah, but even if that was the case, my point still stands. -1 gave audiences far more respect for Godzilla in specific, not necessarily the rest of the kaiju genre. Though we're starting to see a little bit more respect with that, especially after Ultraman Rising. But yeah, I think that's a big reason as to why people didn't take Godzilla movies, especially this one. And GVK, granted, GVK was really difficult to take serious, and taking it seriously wasn't exactly the point of that movie, but still, why it was really difficult for people to take it seriously was because of the wilderness era mentality. The fact that people viewed kaiju media and Godzilla specifically as niche, stupid, and just unnotable, not noteworthy.
Yeah. Okay. Fresh Mad says 1, they're literally drunk here. 2, their people are not monoliths of always correct or always wrong. To answer the first question, yes, they are drunk here. I can get you there. That doesn't make them any less wrong, though. And 2, yeah, no, sure, people aren't monoliths of being always correct or always wrong. But we still have to point out how truly wrong they are here, and in contrast to how usually on point they are a lot of the time.
And it's not even that. It's also the fact that they do get drunk during the movie when they're supposed to be analyzing it. This isn't Mystery Science Theater 3000. This is meant to be a critical analysis of Godzilla, King of the Monsters. You're not supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be paying attention and taking it for what it is. Well, not taking it for what it is, but like looking at the film.
Well, here's the thing. Technically, this isn't a critical analysis. This is more of a commentary sort of thing. But here's the thing.
My point still stands.
Well, that's true. But it's just that I absolutely would hope that they would not base their perspective on King of the Monsters off of just this. Actually, no, they do. I think they have still been basing their views on King of the Monsters off of their viewing of it as shown in this video, because they've said they don't really care enough about the movie to even want to rewatch it again.
There's also there's 2 other factors. One, if you watch their videos on the DC films, they are nowhere near as bad as this. They're like criticisms of those films whilst watching them in this format is so much more on point, even with the stupid jokes and whatnot. But also, if they watched this back, if somebody like Wolf was editing it or whoever was watching this, saw how bad the points were, they can edit them out. That's the point of an editable video. You can just edit shit out. But they didn't. They kept them in.
Yeah. Yeah, Vic here, Cosmonaut, pretty much Kaiju Not, saying, because you should only critique something if you know what you're talking about, whether you're doing it seriously or not. You could still be wrong. Exactly.
Thank you.
Actually, I just thought of something. If they edited out all the things that they were wrong about from this video, imagine how short the video would be.
Well, they do that, and we still end up with a half-hour video.
Wolf isn't... No, we're not talking about Wolf. We're talking about Baller, Rags, and Metal here. Wolf is pretty much the editor for this video.
Yeah, we're just saying that Wolf was editing it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They're still sharing the general perspective on King of the Monsters, pretty much. So they're on the same page with each other. So, really, Wolf is almost as complicit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, Wolf could have watched this video and gone, Mauler, you said some really stupid shit here, then they could have edited it. But they didn't.
No.
Time to find out the motivation of the villain.
Suppose I should go first.
Where's Madison?
She's right here with me. Dad, are you okay?
Where's the daughter? Where's the daughter that was okay with all of this still?
Dad, Mom's fucking insane. Come and get me right now.
Well, remember,
she wants to eat my flesh, Dad.
She's still pro-mum. She goes anti-mum soon.
I'm saving the world.
Of course you are.
It doesn't make sense.
As impossible as it seems, it does.
What? No.
Hear me out.
What?
After we lost Andrew, I swore his death would not be in vain.
Well, I'm gonna kill everyone else.
Answer, the solution to why the Titans were rising. But as I dug deeper, I realized that they were here for a reason. And that despite all the years that we spent trying to stop them, we never dared to confront the truth. Humans have been the dominant species for thousands of years, and look what's happened.
We've made a lot of advances. A lot of advances. We've committed to a lot of great things, but if you only consider all of our failures, yeah, it could look great.
Also, I actually she made like all those cut-ins where she did their explanations like war, and they have like a war scene. It's like pollution.
Oh shit! The pollution now is supposed to be a war scene. Well, you get the idea.
I'd like if she just said bad stuff, and it just shows someone
Bad
crying.
things.
They are part of the
Oh look,
natural
a Titan, a friendly Titan, just
way to protect the planet.
not doing anything damaging to the world.
But if governments are allowed to contain them, the human infection will only continue to spread.
Are you referring to humans as an infection when these things literally destroy everything?
It will perish.
Pause.
Pause.
Oh, better.
Restore balance.
Pause.
Why do you think that's the truth?
Minecraft?
Minecraft. Can you pause it?
She explains this scene is where she explains stuff, and she explains I was researching into it, and then I researched further, and then realized why the Titans were coming up, and it's because humans keep doing shit. Then she explains her reasoning for that, and then what do Mauler and Co say? Oh well, we've done some good stuff. It's like, yeah, but that's not what she's referring to.
No, that's not what she's referring to. It's like, okay, yeah, we've done good stuff. Okay, what does that have to do with what we're talking about?
Unfortunately. And then the bit that made me want to pause is, again, she's saying, oh, the human infection is going to keep growing. And they say, oh, but it's that she wants to release the monsters who are just going to destroy everything. It's like, no, that's not what she thinks that's going to happen. That's not what they will naturally do. That's what they end up doing in this film because of Ghidra, which is a point that everybody keeps missing. Actually, no, hold on. He points it out earlier in the film. He points out earlier in this video. He says, Emma says, Ghidra is destroying everything. It's because of Ghidra. He points that out earlier in this video. So he's fully aware that's not what the Titans are supposed to be doing, but he's still stuck on that.
Yeah, okay. I believe Emma understood there would be casualties. Also, she also knows Monarch has bunkers, so people will survive, and after the initial awakenings, things will bounce back. Yeah, that's her plan. That was the plan that she had in mind. That's what she was hoping would happen. But, of course, Ghidorah, being an alien that likes to terraform worlds to his liking, or at least as far as we could tell from this movie, turned everything shit sideways.
It's about whether or not you believe that she believes the plan could work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really gets me how this film. Do you know where people complain about exposition dumps in films, and those people say, "Oh, can you just make it more subtle? Can't you just trust us to understand what's going on?" King of the Monsters trusted people to understand what was going on, and you get situations like this where they're just missing everything. Yeah. This is why we get exposition dumps in films, because if you do it in a more natural way, idiots miss it.
Yeah, and not to mention, Emma also pretty much wanted Andrew's death to not be in vain. She says so in this scene. And even later on, when Madison, after the Mass Awakening stuff begins, Madison, who's upset with her, she's all like, you said we were doing this for Andrew. Do you really think he wanted this? So there it is. There's that too. There's the personal motivation that Emma had going on.
Just like how forest fire replenishes the soil, or
Forest fires replenish the soil.
we have seen.
Therefore, if we destroy billions
we should
of lives,
burn everything.
Las Vegas, wherever
Look at that.
go.
She's better than what we had. She's way better than what we had.
Just like a woman, there's a reason we build cities, okay? There's a reason.
We don't want to live in trees and die at the ripe old age of 28.
What the hell is this movie?
Set them free. You are murdering the world. No.
You are.
No, because
I wait for it to be like, depends on your definition of the world.
Oh, pause there a second.
Yeah, pause that for a second.
Because I'm pretty sure she starts explaining stuff, and then Commander says no because ha ha ha, and starts talking over her.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you highlighted this in your video. It's
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you did. But if you want to if you want to restate it, I guess if you want to.
Yeah, because essentially just Emma explaining her mentality of this whole thing, just like no, because in the past we've seen from all the cave paintings and the other iconography and everything else we've got research on and evidence for. We can see that the Titans and humans have coexisted in the past, so we just need to learn how to do that again. It's like, yeah, that seems reasonable, especially for somebody who's sat there and researched it. And as Mark points out in a second, is like you can't just math it all out. It's like, yeah, if you just to go just by the research and whatnot, then yeah, you might think that you can get back to a sense of balance. But then she's just ignoring the fact that maybe we're not in the right sort of technological sort of societal place to do all that sort of thing. But yeah, it gets more complicated the more you look into it, which is again why it's so interesting. And then yeah, they just talked all over that because they want to make a joke, and then because they talked all over it, they then don't understand what's going on. Because they don't understand what's going on, apparently it's the film's fault.
Yeah. How many brain cells have you lost?
Way too many. Way too many.
There is a hole in my bag of marbles, and they are slowly dropping out.
I trained her to survive.
They have to keep reminding us that they lost a kid as if that's the motivation. It's like, no, it doesn't follow. It doesn't follow at all.
That is their motivation, though.
It is. That
is their motivation.
It's the reason why Mark hates Godzilla. It's the reason why it's the reason why Emma is doing anything that she's doing in this movie.
And again, it's like critics just, as I say about a lot in probably my videos and a lot of videos around the time, the presupposition of people going into these films just assuming they're going to be stupid, and then the film presents a more complicated narrative of somebody going beyond the straightforward of monster cause death, monster bad, and just going much deeper with it to human action is causing the monsters to rise up. Therefore, we should do something about the human action. The best way to do that is to get the monsters to rise up prematurely and so almost control the monsters into doing the things we want. There's a much more complicated sort of narrative and reasonings going on. And because of that, people watching this film expecting something stupid are completely thrown off to the point where they just think that the actual intelligent, complicated narrative is stupid because they don't understand it. And again, it's just projection. They don't. They miss. Just like I said a minute ago, they don't pay attention to the film. They don't understand what's going on. Therefore, they think the film is bad because they don't understand it.
They talk and joke over the most important scenes of the film.
Yeah. I mean,
which again, in other videos, they rewind and watch those bits again, so you'll see them talking over sections like this. But then in other videos, they will then play that section out where they've clearly rewound it and watched it again, and then commenting on it again. But they don't do that here.
No, they don't. Yeah, and here's the funny thing. Here's the shocking thing about this. Like some of their Mauler and Rags' some of their favorite movies is the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and those movies get across like a lot of information without really spelling it all out, piece by piece, pretty much, without overly explaining stuff. And King of the Monsters is essentially kind of doing that, is more or less doing that as well. It's getting across a lot without needing to over-explain it. It's the information is there, and the film does get it across. You just got to piece it together.
Shit like this is why people say this film is boring, or why this film has a boring human plot or stuff like that.
For the most part, my only issues are the poor attempts at humor. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I kind of think that. I mean, I thought the humor is fine, but there are some groaners for sure.
The gonorrhea joke, when taken out of context, is not great. But within the context of the film, I'd say it's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, right, you're referring to King of the Monsters. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple of stinker jokes in there. The gonorrhea one, the oh my Godzilla one, which everybody references.
Yeah.
And yeah, that still annoys me. I thought he meant the jokes in this video, which there's quite a lot of stinkers in this video as well.
Yeah. Lot.
They really trust random people a lot.
This guy gets so much screen time and power in this movie, and he's just this guy.
For the last 60 years,
He's the protagonist, you knucklehead!
He's worked with Monarch.
How do they not know? Again, they've already watched this film. They've seen this film before. They know who. They see the interactions, and they still sit there going, "I don't know who Mark Russell is." And there goes some more marbles.
Around the world to save and restart civilization.
So what do you mean? As if the alien monsters are just gonna leave?
They don't know that he's an alien yet!
How do they do this? So they completely ignoring future information about Mark Russell that informs them about who Mark Russell is. So they're sitting there going, I don't know who Mark Russell is. And then literally straight after that, they're using future information that Emma Russell is not aware of yet to then complain about her actions. How are they doing this? Kaiju Naught just pointed something out there, which we've already pointed out. If you ignore the fact that Mark Russell was part of Monarch, which they've actually they've verbally addressed, but also just all the other bits and pieces, which they mentioned, like the first name basis, the relationship with the son, all that sort of stuff. Besides the fact that he made the Orca, if you ignore that as well, Kaiju Naught says, is he a biologist? I think the biology part is because this is something I did in university. When you're in university, you're doing a course on one thing, but then you might have an interest in something else. And then you're encouraged by the people who's teaching you to mix those two together. So in Mark's case, it looks like he was doing a course in engineering, which is why he was able to make the Orca. But he also has an interest in biology, zoology, specifically zoological, like audio. I don't know what the words that be. And it sounds like it looks like he mixed the two interests, his personal hobby interests, in with his coursework, essentially, to make the Orca, which is a mechanical device that creates animal noises. So it looks like he mixed those two together, which is why that's in the film. Yeah, basically, this man is very intelligent. He's a doctorate in engineering, probably, with looks like a side hustle in zoology, which is probably why Monarch was interested in him in the first place. So it all mixes together to show this man is like very intelligent, knows what he's talking about. The people know who he is, and he has a very specific interest in the fact that it's his family and that's his device. There's so much information in this film telling you who this guy is. Oh, but I don't know who is this guy? He's just some random person.
Yeah.
Sorry, ran over.
To clarify, do you want all of us to hide in bunkers while the monsters rip and tear through every civilization we've established? And once it all gets overgrown by grass again, we're allowed to start again. Which takes us directly to making civilization all over again until they destroy us again. Is this the natural fucking cycle?
No. Oh my god.
That's not what she's asked. That's not entirely what
she
she's
literally
asking.
just explained all of that, and they just she just explained that there could be harmony with the Titans. That is the whole point of what she was just talking about. Mind you, they just talked over it as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've explained it. The film explains it. We don't need to go much. We don't need to go over it again. Let's just keep moving. Keep moving. Move along.
This video has made me so angry that my Hammond Collection Carnotaurus has fallen off of the shelf.
Oh
my
shit!
god!
Shit!
You really think this was going to be easy, painless? Is that what you told her?
Leave her out of this.
Why? You're the one who pulled her into it.
Yeah.
Good point. Exactly did Mummy sell you on? Some grand utopia?
Yeah.
Man and monster living together in blissful harmony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tywin gets to speak and he's like the
I
only
can't tell
intelligent character.
In 10 fucking seconds, he gets to act.
He's like, number one, how did you explain this to her? Two, how did you expect monsters and humans to work together? Like, this is a stupid plan. Then you have a moment of like, why are you doing it? He's like, I have no fucking clue. I've just been put into this stupid scene. What the fuck? I don't understand.
What is this?
What did the
I don't
kid
give a shit that
remember,
you're sad, random kid.
Remember, the kid was on board with the plan at one point, and I have to agree with Tywin. What did she tell you was going to happen? The monsters were going to rise up and go, hello, humans. How are you doing?
You are not tasty snacks to me.
Right.
Yeah, this is once again them just not understanding what's going on.
No. Yeah. How can we explain in simple terms, like terms that they in talk that they can understand, why Madison, has sort of, you could say, sort of flipped?
First off, there's a hint that she's not entirely on Emma's side at the beginning of the fucking movie.
Right?
Yeah, she has her doubts. That's clearly, this is the thing that I'm pretty sure I pointed it out, is that because Mark was drunk off his ass all the time, which he says in his film, Madison probably got closer to Emma because Emma was the more positive, or in her eyes, the more positive reaction to the son's death. In that Emma was working harder, was researching and doing so. So Madison was almost certainly more on Emma's side with that. And then all it is just Emma just telling Madison, yeah, this is how it's going to go. This is going to be fine. It's going to be great. Don't worry about anything. I've got everything under control. And it's the mother telling the daughter stuff because, children generally trust their parents unless shit happens. But, so, yeah, potentially Madison has been told by Emma, yeah, it's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. And now it's actually been executed and shit's hitting the fan. Madison is now realizing just how wrong her mother is.
Yeah.
It's happening in the film and it's being shown in the film and they're sitting there going, oh, didn't you know about this? And the answer is no.
Again, it's about, do you believe that she believes the plan would work?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
If Emma believes the plan, that's what she's going to tell her daughter who just has to trust her mother.
Yeah.
It all works and
it's established at the start of the freaking movie.
Yeah, for Madison, this was functionally the only way to keep having a family.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, they've lost a family member. She wants to keep the family together. Then the dad left, so now all she has is her mother. So yeah, even more reason for her to just trust her mother because I'll trust you. I want to keep everything together.
Yeah.
Again, you can make a comparison to Black Widow in Captain America: Civil War, which is one of Mauler's one of the favorite films, because Black Widow in that film is just trying to keep everybody together at whatever cost, even to the point of trying to convince people to go against their moral standards just to keep everybody together. And in this, Madison is trying to stay with her mother because basically she's the only member of the family left who hasn't died or fucked off to the woods. Oh my god.
There's also the factor of Mark actually going after her, showing that he gives a crap. Maybe that's probably a beginning of incentive to say, yeah, okay, maybe Dad wasn't as bad. Then Emma lays out her plan and, oh, what have I done?
Yeah, let's stop evacuating because the monster is arriving. Jesus Christ.
It's a shame because this is actually really cool, but fuck it.
The best Godzilla monsters are so cool, and I just want a movie that you get to see them for the most of the time that's really high budget.
What did they say? Hold on a second.
He said, all the monsters are so cool. Why can't I just have a film where it just has all the monsters in it? And my first thought was GXK.
No, The thing
Because I
with
bet he really likes that film.
the thing
I don't know.
the thing with GXK, it didn't put me off of not seeing a kaiju focused story because it wasn't 100% focused on the kaiju. I've seen well done kaiju focused stories. Godzilla in Hell and Godzilla Dominion I will defend with my life. Oh my god. It's all about how well written something is. GXK was really poorly written, but you can make it work.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the thing. A lot of these films, GXK, GVK, there's a lot of films which are terrible that all you need to do is tweak them a little bit and they'll work much, much better. It's just fascinating how badly people get these films wrong when they are so close to being good.
Yeah.
I am willing to commend GXK for using the monsters predominantly in its story, for giving the chance to focus on them, especially Kong, and that was part of the influence from my pitch. But the thing is, it doesn't make full sense at all. It's poorly handled. It is really poorly handled in its entirety. Granted, the Kong scenes were the best scenes of that movie, so... But still. Oh, God.
Oh, it's so cool. It's so fucking cool. It's a shame we had to wait through 55 minutes of human bullshit to get here.
Dude, shut the fuck up!
Yeah, just stop.
That's too spicy for us, man. Oh, muy caliente! Yeah, I'd like to illustrate, if this makes into the final cut, that I don't actually know if they're Mexicans. I just thought they were brown and assumed. So I just wanted to be racist for
Not
it.
his best take.
Okay, they are Mexican. Hooray! All right, we're good. Hooray! Quick, piss it up.
Okay, so Isla de Mara, geographically speaking, just so we could clear the air, where is it? In conjunction with Mexico. Let's just clear the air of that for a bit,
Let me find it.
Well, based on the map on the screen in the film, it looks like it's just east of it.
Okay, just east of it. So would it technically count as being part of?
I mean, it is just based off of the name. It is pretty noteworthy. It is likely applicable to ascribe under Mexican law. So,
okay,
and the novelization directly ties it to Mexico. So,
okay.
I'm looking through the different maps because Isla de Mara, Isla de Mara is just southeast of Mexico, so it's highly possible that it is part of the Mexican government.
Yeah, I'm not trying to validate Rags's joke about Mexicans here, but I just wanted to make sure.
It's just southeast of Mexico, geographically speaking, so it's highly possible that that it is part of the Mexican government.
And Vic says, if I remember correctly, it's not a real island in terms of in that it's not an island that exists in real life. I
know it's not. I know it's not a real location. That's why I had to pull up the maps of the Monarch outposts. So, but yeah.
Kez was like, I really hate that man. It's okay. It's okay.
So this guy, he could go up, he could go down, left, right. He just stays still until deciding.
If only I had a plane.
For God's sakes!
What?
Yeah. Rodan is a living creature. He could literally just track where he would go, no matter what. He's fucked.
But he also does move in the clip when Mauler says he can go left, he can go right, but he just stays still. The clip is literally showing the plane going left and right, and Rodan's just tracking him.
It's a quick shot. It's quick shot, but it's still there. And it's the Michael Dougherty
again. With the Antarctica, he says, "Oh, they should have done this." It's like, that's literally what they did in the film. Why didn't you acknowledge that they literally did the thing that you're talking about?
Yep.
They're so fucking cool. I want King Ghidorah to just fuck me.
I mean, the 3 heads,
I That's all I want.
Yeah, they're firing a missile that kills oxygen.
But wait, but we need oxygen. I can't believe this is what happened. It's exactly what I said would happen.
No.
Wow, they skipped over a lot. They skipped so much.
The next line of dialogue proves you wrong, you fuckwit.
Again, they weren't listening to the fucking speech, and I don't get what they were talking about the oxygen destroyer.
It kills oxygen.
I don't understand.
Their problem is like, oh, we're the military. We're going to create this missile that kills oxygen, the thing that we breathe.
Yeah, it's like, oh, but we need that. It's like, well, yeah, they also create. It's a weapon.
Yeah.
What do you think weapons do? They kill things. You fucking furry.
Yeah. They've also skipped over Godzilla, fighting Ghidorah. They skipped over in the water. They skipped over the oxygen destroyer hitting Godzilla, making impact. They skipped over Ghidorah not dying. They skipped over Ghidorah regrowing his head, the left head rapidly, to indicate that he's an alien. They skipped over the mass awakening, Ghidorah waking up the Titans. It's a lot.
One at a time.
Yeah, even Charles Dance is like, this is a bit much.
Yeah, you're kind of fucking insane.
Well, I mean,
so it went from.
She didn't want that. She did not want Ghidorah to be doing that.
Before you rant.
It's larva form.
Did you catch that? She said.
South America.
Oh, is that where they
South
mentioned that
American
she went from one country to another when she didn't? Can you rewind it a bit and watch it?
Why?
Can you rewind it?
Okay, well, all right, hold on. What did they say about Mothra? What did they say about
traveling from South America to China as a worm?
Fuck! Yeah, that's right. Oh, Jesus Christ!
I thought they said Japan. South America.
South America.
What?
End my suffering, please.
Rewind it. Wait, surely not. Rewind it. I want to hear that.
So it went from South America to China in its cocoon form, its larva form. Did you catch that?
Fuck me.
I am shaking violently right now.
She didn't go from South America to China. She went from. It's more like she went from China to China.
How could they get that so wrong?
Baller, Rags, Metal, EFAP in general. Did you fucks watch the movie?
How much did they had to drink?
I don't know.
They were probably drunk by the time they started them. I'm fully willing to believe they started the movie by accident.
I wish I had the amount of alcohol that they must have had in their systems by now just to get through this. Because my God, because this is actually torturous. I'm so sorry that I put you all through this.
There's still a balance. It's like, what?
Like, yeah, exactly. What's the problem?
We're doing this for Andrew.
And this is what Andrew would have wanted.
You were releasing huge monsters for Andrew. What the fuck does that
mean?
What? So many of their comments stem from just a complete misunderstanding of one thing, and then they just this is unfortunately what they're when they mention King of the Monsters in their streams, they say the same things a lot, and it gets really annoying because they've got one thing wrong, which then just gets all their other points wrong, and then they keep repeating them over and over. It was like CGF in the last stream. Is like he's got his point, he's making his point, and regardless of whatever the actual truth is, he's just going to keep making his point. That's exactly what their streams are like.
Actually, Mommy, I want a fire truck. I didn't know.
Like, Bob, I was killed by Godzilla. Why would I want more of them?
So that there will be more children for you to play with in heaven.
Oh, okay, that's sweet.
That's shit. Okay.
It just reminded me of the Christian arguments for God killing children in the Bible.
I just needed a moment to process that because fucking hell. Fucking hell.
Yeah, that's all right.
There's literally an argument Christians use for God killing children in the Bible. They say, well, it makes sure it means that the children get to go to heaven sooner. What the fuck?
And get separated from their parents?
Yeah, there's literally just people when people bring this up to because there's a lot of the nutter Christians, the ones who like to believe absolutely everything in the Bible is real. So when people say, so when God told was it Isaac? I think it was Isaac. When God told Isaac to go kill all the women and children in these cities, why is that a good thing? And then the Christian nutter has to say, it means the children get to see God sooner. They get to go to heaven sooner.
Wow.
Actually, that links in quite nicely to Killing the Monsters and its whole thing of like, don't go too far with like zealotry and whatnot. There's keep everything in moderation. Balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, all girls. We were able to reproduce without the use of males.
I like the idea that Wakanda were considering coming out.
What the fuck? Why would you assume that? Why would you assume that they that they don't need males to reproduce? What?
I'm just bringing the joke. I just think it's a poor attempt at humor.
Yeah, it's a joke, but it's still just like, why? Just why?
It's one of those jokes where at this point in the video, you're just like, I'm just going to ignore that shit. There's too much else going on.
Yeah.
Godzilla's rivalry was ancient and unique. Right, so we killed our best shot at beating this thing?
Yeah, we got that.
Jonah, you don't get it. This changes everything. With Godzilla gone, Monster Zero isn't using the Titans to restore the planet. He is using them to destroy it.
Yeah. What were they doing before that? This is the dump.
What were they doing before that? They were sleeping.
Again, it's just them not understanding what exactly she thought was going to happen and her explanation for it and everything. They're just...
Yeah, drunk. She had an idea of what she had an idea of what the Titans would do when they awaken them. Ghidorah,
to be fair, her idea of what the Titans were going to do is based on the credits of the film, accurate. It's just the way she decided to go about it was really wrong.
She misunderstood, or actually no, didn't even know what Ghidorah was. That's the entire premise of the film.
Yeah, like Ghidorah is essentially about to turn the world into like another Venus, which is something not even the Earthbound Titans would want. So you pretty much, assuming Venus would be similar to where Ghidorah came from, but that's beside the point. The point is like Ghidorah is trying to terraform the planet to where it wouldn't be inhabitable to anything but himself. Like he's using them as tools, as a means to an end. Let's just say. But before that, the Titans were just asleep. Even in 2014, the Titans didn't start out just like tearing up like Hawaii or Janjira or San Francisco. They were all asleep or in hibernation or doing whatever. It's just that certain things happened that caused a Titan to awaken. Then another Titan awoke, and so on and so on. It's a domino effect. Like cause and effect. It's very simple.
Mastery of the movie. If you watch the 2014 one, the Muto, that's it. The Godzilla kills. It's just running amok. There is no King Ghidorah in that film. It's just running around killing everything. But according to her, King Ghidorah makes them angry.
These creatures communicate like...
The Muto was mating. Both Mutos
it's running around killing everything. No, it's walking in a straight line towards its mate.
Yes, they're both doing that. And Godzilla's trying to stop
killing everything. Jesus.
Yeah, and Godzilla and military are both trying to prevent that from happening. Yeah, and Ghidorah isn't making the Titans angry. The Ghidorah is controlling them.
Yeah.
It's like watching a punch-up outside of a pub and saying, "Oh, the entire human race is violent, punchy people." But no, it's just one fight outside a pub.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
The old trope of small child foils massive, complex, highly equipped, highly trained terrorist
And you have the terrible dialogue where it's like, if we could get the orca to the thing and then broadcast the thing, it would do the thing.
I mean, it's far from the worst plan. Let's be real. It's far from the worst plan. Nuking them would probably cause far more harm than good.
And also, nuking just wouldn't
We
work.
saw what the oxygen destroyer did, so Ghidorah's not going to be able to get rid of easily.
No,
it's just I don't understand why they think it's bad dialogue. It's like Emma is explaining to Jonah how she would think of stopping Ghidorah,
And
then
Madison's
Jonah's
in the
like,
comms
no.
room. Madison's in the
in the
comm
comms
room.
room listening. I don't understand why they think it's bad dialogue. It's perfectly good dialogue. What's wrong with it? They don't say what's wrong with it. They just say it's bad. And God, this reminds me of was it Nerdrotic when he was talking about I think it was She-Hulk, because in the trailer for She-Hulk she explains like her character or whatever, and it's a clip from the show when she's talking to someone on a date or something, which they put in the trailer. Nerdrotic repeated her lines before She-Hulk said them in the trailer. As if like, oh look, these are really generic lines which are really obvious things. He's basically making fun of it, but it's perfectly reasonable dialogue for the situation and for a trailer. Nerdrotic is just making fun of it to make it sound worse than it actually is, which is exactly what Mauler is doing here. Mauler is making fun of perfectly normal dialogue and perfectly acceptable dialogue by just repeating it and going, it's stupid. But it's not. I'm getting annoyed, so just a little bit.
How do you think I feel?
Yeah.
I'm the one who has this as their favorite movie ever made. How do you think I feel?
Yeah.
Like, go find my daughter. Where are you gonna go? Yeah, where are you gonna go?
Thing I got left, Sam.
Oh,
that's not actually an answer.
That's not an answer.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, like Earth is really big. You have no idea where to start.
So you probably better stay with us because we're following all the action, you know?
How come they didn't
It's
see
almost like it's part of his character.
Yeah, I mean,
Not even part of his character. It's almost like it's his entire motivation.
Yeah, like he's her father. Like, and even if he doesn't know where she is, he's gonna he can't just sit around and do. He even says himself, he can't sit around and do nothing. Like he's got to try, pretty much.
Yeah,
it's his desperation of like he's trying to find his son early in the film, but he's desperately trying, even though
as far as he's concerned, like his looking for Madison is pretty much like his top priority, and he's got nothing else to do. Like, what else is he gonna do other than to try to find her?
Oh god, this is the perfect part of the film where people say, "Oh, he has the answers to everything," and there's this literal part of the film where he has no answers, where he's literally useless.
He has no idea what to do. It's like, where are you going? I don't know. But
the character motivation of him trying to find his daughter because he's desperate because he wants to find his daughter, but then also the character aspect of when he's struggling, when he's desperate and he can't do anything, he runs off somewhere, which he did when he divorced Emma. He ran off to the woods somewhere to just get away from everything. And she even says to him in the previous, well, not the previous scene, but when she's ranting at him, she says, "There's problems you can't run away from." And then here he's running away because he's trying to get away from everything. It's just character stuff, which is being ignored because they're not paying attention to it.
Exactly.
That would have blown him the fuck away.
Godzilla back from the dead.
You never took that
Well, hold on a second. Did we accidentally skip a beat? Skipped something? Did we accidentally skip? Oh my!
Yes, you skipped the whole. We're gonna bring the whole plan to find Godzilla. Them motioning for their plan, and then here we go.
Okay, so it's their editing. It wasn't a mistake on our end.
No, it was their editing.
That was weird editing.
Yeah. What happened there? What was that?
I will go back and prove it. I will
Okay.
go back and prove it.
We apparently.
See,
Oh my
I didn't skip ahead.
What the hell?
What happened? Yeah. Yeah, they skipped Eileen Chan addressing Mothra and Rick's "I record everything" line. Yeah, they skipped a lot. They skipped a lot of stuff. And apparently Alice says that we have proof that I'm a Mothzilla shipper. What?
What? What do you mean?
Mothra Godzilla shipper. Apparently
What do you mean? Sea Monster's a Mothzilla shipper. I know what they're talking about. What the hell do you mean by that?
Yeah, a good question.
I see a new Avatar coming up.
Okay.
Watch out of your pocket without him asking that question. I care about my son Andrew, who died. I didn't even be here to save the thing. I just wanted to fuck wolves. I didn't.
Oh, I hate this bit so much.
Oh god, they just skipped over the whole like son relationship bit.
The whole falling into the vortex thing. Oh my goodness.
And the whole conversation. Yeah, the whole conversation. Just oh my god.
You know, this actually isn't that much different.
They
than
would have.
Washington
Do you see
DC
that?
right now?
They would have clipped the Washington Monument just there.
I mean, considering the wingspan of that,
No, based off trajectory and based off the size of the Argo, they would have avoided it.
I don't know. I'm still iffy.
They just seriously, dude, just fuck this movie. Our weapon systems were damaged, therefore the thing we need to do cannot be done unless some guy sacrifices himself.
That's
Wait, are they done?
That stuff happens all the time in real life, so I don't understand why that's a problem.
Plus, like, they were just chucked several thousand kilometers beneath the ground by a vortex. Yeah, that's going to hit something. It's going to break something.
Yeah, if something's broken because of an unsuspecting, thing involving, a tunnel to where Godzilla is at. Technical difficulties is a thing that happens. And during these like desperate times, they call for desperate measures. To put it simply.
Yeah, and just in terms of just like mechanical failures and whatnot, one of the funniest like real world mechanical failures, like conveniences, as it were. Have you ever read up about what happened to the Bismarck?
Yes.
It was the Nazis' biggest battleship.
Yeah.
They built two of them, and it didn't last very long, which is the hilarious thing about it. Spent all that money and time on it, and it was buggered within like a week or something, I think. But the reason it got destroyed is because someone broke the rudder, and it ended up just spinning in circles. And it's like this massive warship with all these guns and everything else got absolutely buggered because the rudder broke. It's just stuff like that, real life stuff like that, and then you watch a film where our weapon systems got destroyed because we went down this vortex. You're like, yeah, sounds completely reasonable.
They were chucked several thousand kilometers beneath the ocean by a whirlpool. Yeah, that's gonna break something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you doing something about it in Taiwan?
Yeah, why are you not going to retrieve it immediately? How can?
Because it wasn't his. Because Madison is not the one that he's looking after. It's Emma who's looking after her.
Yeah.
Madison is not his responsibility. It's Emma's.
There's two ways of looking at this. One, honestly, I agree with Phil Mento on this point. That they probably should have gone to get it, which would have put them in the final fight. Which, considering they're meant to be like Jonah is meant to be like Ghidorah's avatar in this film, would have worked quite well. although you would have had to sort of work out how they probably just ran away at some point. But on the other hand, you can go, yeah, we've literally just discovered this has happened. And now, he even says, we're not going to go anywhere, we don't want to be discovered. But now Madison has done that, he's like, yeah, we're not going to go after her, we're just going to fuck off before we get discovered. It's literally in the film.
Yeah.
To quote Zenzilla, it's literally in the movie!
Yeah, and Al Jonah is satisfied with Ghidorah destroying the planet, even if it meant killing off humanity, so he pretty much felt like he didn't have to retrieve the orca, as Katsubu says, which is what I was about to say, I guess.
But he even says earlier in the film, when Emma actually proposes this plan, he says, what, and tell your friends where we are? I don't think so.
No, maybe you've always said that this planet once belonged to them. Maybe we should just let them have it, as in the Titans.
Yeah.
Also, he gives his notebook to this random wolf guy, not to his fucking colleague. Years working.
Why? You know what? We shouldn't even bother. We shouldn't even bother with that anymore. God damn it!
No, we
Let's
shouldn't.
just not even bother with that.
We shouldn't.
He's like, here, you take it. Yeah, fuck my colleagues I've worked with for years and years. You have my secret notebook.
He's a colleague he's worked with for years and years.
No.
Mark was one of them!
Yes.
Hell, enough to be put on a first-name basis again!
Yes.
Slow motion scene of the nuke going off and then Godzilla's body just getting torn to pieces, blood splatters everything.
He's like, it's a nuke! What do you think would happen? Why are you in league with Ghidorah?
Well, based on what happened previously, you fucking...
Yeah, he got blown up by a nuke.
Have they watched 2014?
Yeah, they say that they did, apparently, but I don't even know. I'm not even sure. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Either way, they're wrong.
Or they just don't remember it, in which case they've got no idea what's going on.
Either way, Godzilla survived a nuke in the face back in Castle Bravo in 1954, as established in 2014. So it's fair to say that he could survive a nuke to the face here as well.
What am I standing on? That's a really good point. His legs are like fucking extremely long.
Did you fucking blow up my house, you piece of shit?
Pause it for a second. The point about Godzilla, for some reason, standing on what's supposed to be deep water. That's pretty much when he's doing his rebirth little roar thing. That's probably like the only valid criticism that we've heard so far.
And even then, it feels like a nitpick considering, Godzilla is a semi-aquatic creature, perfectly capable of swimming, I would believe, treading.
I will say, and here's the thing, here's a question. Even then, it makes us wonder, would they say the same thing about Godzilla -1, despite them really liking -1, thinking that it's fantastic? Because Godzilla in that movie kind of does that more so in that than here. So there's more instances where
Godzilla multiple times in that film, yeah.
Yeah, but
no. We actually do see him tread in the water when Shikishima's circling him. But yeah, after the mine goes kaboom and he regenerates, then dude's just standing there.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, he does, and he also does it during the climax so that they could get the devices on him. So there's, I mean, not to say that they wouldn't criticize -1 for that same thing, for the sake of, but I'd be wondering if they'd be consistent, pretty much. Mm-hmm. I would hope they would. Let's just say.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
What, really? You're so fucking dead. What? Why does this shitty kid get so much fucking screen time?
Oh, shit.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. I'm okay. We're cool.
Yeah, I'm sure that's how that would work.
Yes, Jon Snow. Yell at it.
Godzilla?
Oh yeah, I forgot she does yell at it.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, so it'll kill it easily now because it.
Right, guys. So his radiation levels are so high right now. He's about to nuke in general. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. He's going to explode. So all the humans on the ground, they're just fine.
They're fucked. Like literally, the city is doomed. Why are you here with the whole squad to look for one child?
Inland.
Why are you here with the whole squad to look for one child? Oh my god. Oh my god. First off, why is Madison getting so much screen time? I don't fucking know, because she's a main character.
Yeah, she's kind of important to the plot.
She's not just a main character. Madison and Emma's Mark and Emma's entire motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the main character. She does that. She executes the plan. She's the one drawing Ghidorah in. When they say, "Oh, look, she's fine," she nearly dies multiple times in that attack. So yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And she said, "Oh yeah, scream at him." Oh, they're having problems. They don't like the fact that she screamed at Ghidorah. It's like, well, what else? She thinks she's going to die, so she can either sob, she can either cower. In this case, she decides to scream at it in anger, which is, you know, if you've got nothing else to do, why the fuck not?
You're facing You're facing a 150-meter tall, tight, three-headed dragon from outer space. What the hell are you gonna do against that?
Yeah. And then just the last thing of why are they here to find the girl? It's like, well, no, they're trying to find the orca as well because they think the orca might still be around and usable, and it's kind of an important thing.
And why have the entire squadron? You realize how big Boston is, right?
Yeah.
She could be literally anywhere in the city. You realize how big Boston is, right?
Yeah.
So if Godzilla's juiced up now, then how come he doesn't just thrash Ghidorah? Because he thrashed him earlier last time.
He is thrashing Ghidorah.
He is. He has the advantage.
They keep doing this, don't they? It's like, why isn't this thing happening? Shows clip of the thing happening.
Yeah.
How do they keep doing it?
I don't know, especially when they call out people for the same thing.
Yeah, one of their tropes that they keep pointing out is that people will say something, but then a clip they're playing will counter what they're saying. They're literally doing that here. Oh my god, I didn't notice that before. God damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't be saying that in this scenario.
I don't care. Shut up. If I had the two of you prepared, I'd run away from home too.
Christ.
Why did you stop? There are monsters fighting. I knew you would be here.
But this is the arc completed for the main villain. She's like, you know, this wasn't a good plan. I see it now.
Not gonna lie, I might have been a little hasty when I doomed the world and humanity to extinction.
Wait a minute.
I wasn't fiery full high at all.
But if it is, him landing will fucking obliterate everything in the area.
And it dies!
Well, I mean, it probably could have done more. I think that was a point that we even sort of conceded. There probably should have been a little more devastation than what we actually see here. So
yeah, but we see enough to make it feel devastating. I would argue for the Mass Awakening, yes. For the Mass Awakening specifically, yes.
I'm willing to give them that Godzilla pretty much should have died from that, and there should have been like a lot more destruction as a result of him falling down from that great of a height. All right, so that second point to EFAP, I guess. Even
second
then,
point out of how many missed?
I mean, I didn't say that. I mean, granted, they missed a lot.
Exactly. Exactly.
EFAP 2 film 60.
He gets in a van and drives with the thing to distract Ghidorah, when you could have just gotten into the fucking Osprey and thrown it onto the floor.
First off, we're trying to get Ghidorah away from Godzilla.
Yes.
I point this out in my video, but I'll say it here, might as well. So, Ghidorah is heading towards the Osprey, even though like Emma is driving away at the time. It takes Ghidorah a second to go, hey, wait a minute, it's over there. So, imagine if she had just thrown it on the floor, got on the Osprey with everybody else, and then flown away. Ghidorah would have come over, stamped on the orca, then gone, right, that's sorted. Now let's attack this thing that's flying away from me.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. It's really bloody obvious, and everybody misses it who critiques this point. It's like, oh, why didn't she just get in the Osprey? Because she would have been killed along with everybody else.
Yeah.
Legit, like even if the character arc was buggy, even if pretty much everything else happened, the logistical sense with her getting in the fact that her getting in the Osprey is more dangerous than this is.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, actually, to be fair, yeah, if getting in the Osprey would have been more dangerous, yeah. It's really enough.
Even if nothing else made sense, at least the logic that her logic, at least in this scene, makes sense. I need lead Ghidorah away from Godzilla and away from the people I care about. Where do I go? Car, orca there, away.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sure that Humvee can outrun Ghidorah.
Yeah, look how close he is, by the way. She does end up outrunning him on the Humvee.
That's what's insane.
No, she doesn't.
Well, okay, she kind of does, but also Ghidorah wasn't flying at full speed.
Well, they say, oh, she outruns Ghidorah. She had a massive head start on him, and then he catches up to her.
Yeah.
So, no.
That too, and even that, granted, like, he's barely catching up to her, but he still has a long-range attack.
Yeah.
Cross the globe when he needs to for the story in a day, but he can't catch a Humvee?
If only he had a ranged weapon.
He only had to go from
If only he had a ranged weapon. Shows the ranged weapon!
Yeah, and by the way, he didn't have to go all the way across the globe to Boston. He only had to go fly from Washington, D.C. to Boston.
He had to go north.
Yeah, not too far of a distance for, a giant three-headed dragon. I don't know, that can fly.
You see, it'll destroy skyscrapers, but it'll only flip a Humvee.
It didn't hit the Humvee, it hit behind the Humvee!
Everything in this city is dead.
This is such a,
Everything in this city? You mean, okay, hold on. So, alright, so I've been over this so many times with people, with Blackaroonie, with CGF, with other people. The city is fully evacuated. The only person that has died because of that pretty much would have died as a result of burning Godzilla's little thing there would be Emma. Mateo says, I still really don't get why people died would even be a point of criticism. Like, yeah, no shit. It's like, well, yeah, that's a thing. But in this case, the city, Boston was fully evacuated. So the city it's the whole thing of like, should one Boston be destroyed or should like thousands of Bostons all across the planet be destroyed? Like that's 1 versus 1,000. Not a hard thing to figure out.
Yeah, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, to quote Blackaroonie.
Or the one.
This movie is so bad. Dad, you think Mom's fine?
Like, what do you mean it's so bad?
Why is it so bad? You have proven nothing.
What about this? What about this scene would somehow prompt you to say this movie is so bad? What is it?
I think
I don't
he's
get
just
it.
seen a city getting destroyed and going, "Oh my god, this is terrible." It's like, oh, for starters, he's wrong about the radiation thing because, again, from 2014, we know the Titans absorb radiation, so all that, and they even show it in the scene, the massive like explosion of energy which blinds them, and then it all gets absorbed back into where it came from, essentially, to show that it's being reabsorbed, which basically visually tells people that the radiation has just been reabsorbed. But even if you don't understand that, you should remember from the previous film that the Titans absorb radiation, so there shouldn't be loads of radiation around. Well, he's clearly not understanding that because he said, "Oh, it should be all radioactive." But if he's just going on the fact that the city's been destroyed, yeah, there's been a massive battle. Of course, the city will be destroyed.
Yeah. And not to mention, there aren't any civilian casualties in the city aside from Emma, who technically wouldn't be a civilian. If anything, she'd be more of like she's basically like the one that had set the domino effect for this to happen in the first place.
I mean, I probably will. The trailer will be cool. I'm sure we'll
Behemoth, my beloved. Behemoth, my beloved.
I like how they understand like bowing.
People went nuts.
Yes, that's a natural thing in nature.
Yeah, nature. Bowing is a pretty typical thing for animals when it comes to dominance.
Yeah.
Nature.
Yeah.
We've seen this before. Hell, we see it in the movie itself. Rodan is bowing to Ghidorah on one of the screens.
There's we don't even need to reference that. We could just say like this happens in real life with real life animals. We could just
ZG's recent comment. Please pull that up.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I will riot if they give my boy that treatment. No.
Imagine if they start the next film and they go, and this is our new base, and the camera pans round and like Behemoth's tusks are on the wall or something.
Oh no!
Oh, damn!
Oh my god! I would leave the theater if they do that. Not a semblance of respect.
Threads where they were like, "This is the most epic moment in like fucking movies, having Godzilla be king of the monsters."
I mean, it is an epic moment.
Yes, it is.
It is an epic moment. It is epic.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I get why some people would consider it cringe, but like, again, this is a natural thing. We see this in nature, and we've seen it before in the film itself. So, yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
We're almost there.
This whole movie's fucked.
Yeah.
Rodan's dancing in a volcano. Rainforest is blooming in the Sahara Desert. Did you catch that?
Why is that?
I don't know, because the monsters fix everything. That's how that works.
Behemoth Titan restore, stabilizing sea levels, ecosystems heal. 14 species taken off endangered. What?
Yeah, the Titans
Did you
saved.
not see what happened in this movie?
The Titans saved everything. I didn't see this in
Oh, I didn't even know.
I did. I stayed.
You
I
can't
saw
be
that.
mad. Can't fish here anymore. Everything's dead.
I thought the world was doing better.
No.
Oh, at least it's Charles Dance.
Charles Dance.
Yeah.
Oh, they did just fucking get that wrong. Like, massively get that wrong.
Let's wait till the end because we're almost there.
Yeah.
No, they said.
What?
Oh yeah, that's right. There's the severed head.
Yeah.
We'll take
Blurry.
Is the implication there that they're going to resurrect it? I guess that makes sense. All the fish died in the ox.
So he said, they said when all the fish died, everything's dead. They went, oh, but aren't the Titans making everything better? They just completely fucking forgot about the oxygen destroyer. I just completely fucking forgot about it.
Their sheer bafflement at the whole.
I love how
saving the world. What?
I love how they pretty much forgot about the Oxygen Destroyer until this head came back, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, the fish died due to the Oxygen Destroyer. Find that interesting.
I've been shit since the beginning, so it's fine.
It's always been supposed to be shit.
Look, guys, like really, you have to sit through so much crap to get to the like less than 10 minutes of good stuff.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't have to have it be that way. If you really want to have your human shit, write it properly. That's all you gotta do. Make me care about some humans? Fine. Fine.
Yeah, have it be good. Or just ideally have there be less of it. You could just have it to where it doesn't like follow specific humans, but every time the monsters do something, the humans in this part of the military have to do this. These engineers have to do that. This group of people, you know,
in 2014.
What a disaster of a movie.
But it's so cool though.
No. It has the big gaze.
Straw man arguments, and then here's the actual.
And there's the CinemaSins thing.
Hey, there it is.
Okay.
But Don, I find it so priceless that they pretty much say like, "Oh, this movie. Oh, we just wanted was, or just give us like a good story, pretty much to go with the fights." It's like, you already got it. Go watch it again. It's there. You'll find it. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I still like EFAP overall. I still think that they make some good content for sure, and and their streams are fun still. I mean, more so than not. I know that there's some that are pretty not too great, but there's some pretty entertaining ones, like the Boogie one. That was the one where they talked about Starfield, or at least about Never Knows Best's video about the negative reception of Starfield. That was an entertaining video. But
okay. Yeah. To Kaiju Kuru, how bad was it? Was it Skipper bad or Blackaroonie bad? This makes Dr. Skipper look like a competent review.
Yeah.
This is as bad. This is almost as bad as Platoon. The fact that Little Platoon's review was even worse than this is genuinely more surprising to me than how bad this video actually turned out to be.
Yeah, it's kind of horrifying almost. What a ride.
That was actual torture.
That was. Here's the thing. I want to say. Here's the thing. I will say I apologize to put you guys through this. Like I mean, C Animus, what did you think of this video having just refamiliarized yourself with it now after all this time?
I think it's worse than I remembered.
Yeah, same. I mean, this was. I mean, like, keep in mind again. I like EFAP. I want to make that clear. I mean, I don't want I know I'm doing this just to soften the blow, but I really want to just make it clear that I do like EFAP's content. I'm a fan of Mahler. I like a lot of his content kind of inspired my new approach of this approach like kaiju media that I'm doing on my channel, and I'm pretty sure he also inspired you, C Animus, among others. So believe me when I say, dear viewers, that EFAP's King of the Monsters video, it is fucking dog shit. It is absolute dog shit. It could potentially be the worst thing that they have made. Which, I mean, they made a lot of good stuff, but there comes a time where not everything I don't know if I would say they're my idols really, but they're kind of like somewhat of an inspiration. But if you were to call them an idol, let's just say not everything your idol does is gold. Sometimes it can be pretty shit like this. And it's not even to say that this is a technically badly put together video. On the technical side of things, in terms of just editing or what have you, making sure that the film is in sync with stuff with the commentary. But even then, it's still kind of bizarre that they miss a lot of points that could miss a lot of things in the movie that could counter their points that they make throughout the video pretty easily. It's bizarre.
Yes,
really bizarre.
The video is quite a fascinating subject of seeing how misreading a point here or there earlier in the film can then completely poison their opinions for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Just like they don't hear the line about Mark being part of Monarch, and then for the rest of the film they're like, who is this guy? I don't understand who he is, and stuff like that. Or talking over Emma's explanation as to what she's doing, and then just carrying on going, oh, you want to destroy the world. Stuff like that. But then there's also, yeah, like you said, just they'll say something that is explained by a scene earlier in the film, but it's a scene they don't include in the video.
Yeah.
Or,
I mean,
or Mauler saying, why don't they do this thing when the thing that he's talking about is either on screen happening right then or has just happened and he's not seen it.
Yeah. I mean, like, with people like Chris Stuckman or Double Toasted or, you know, or other people that I haven't covered on this stream, you know, like it's one thing to pretty much hear some of those people, you know, or Angry Joe, where whether they're fans of the franchise or not, they just kind of like have like a very shallow perspective on the film that it does poison the well pretty much, considering, you know, how big they are. But it is just kind of, you know, really bizarre. They have like really bad takes that just kind of that, you know, but even then, you're just kind of sitting there thinking, why would you even, okay, fan or not, why would you think this? But they're like very mainstream about it. You know, they're much more mainstream critics, so they're not like going too much into depth about the movie. With EFAP, who are much more analytical, who are like much more deep divey, you know, Longman, let's just say, to have a take, and they pretty much have like a standard that's quite high for art that we should strive to pretty much, you know, try to have our art to be the best thing that it can possibly be, you know, to make, you know, because that's where, you know, to put in the work into your craft to really make it something truly special out of it, like, and they pretty much want to encourage that, as opposed to the Phase 4, Phase 5 way of MCU sort of thinking about writing, where it's just like, oh, writing, what is that? We can just rush that or just make shit up as we go along, and we'll just take that paycheck. They want to like discourage those kinds of practices, or ask for better from movies, pretty much from cinema, or just any art in general. And to have them like just be so off base with this movie, to have such baffling takes, to be on this, they're like on the same level as your Chris Stuckmans or your Angry Joes. It's far more inexcusable in this case to kind of hear such a bad take from guys like Baller or Rags, who should fucking know better. Like, I get we're all human and all, you know, but, you know, we can make mistakes, but it's just, it's baffling. I don't know. You can't help but think about it sometimes.
This was part of the reason why I fell off Little Platoon after that GXK review, because I got into him because of his Thor Love and Thunder review, and that movie to this day still remains my least favorite film ever made. For multiple reasons, including what the movie and what that video in specific represents. A mindset that, frankly, I don't want to have, and one that is very, very heavily exemplified here. Where I go into a film having heavy presumptions of it, and then refuse to enjoy it for any merits that it has, or refuse to give it a chance. That mentality fell off by Barbenheimer, and partially because I actually did enjoy Barbie. Like, flaws and all, that movie was great. But even then, it wasn't really until GXK where that mindset really came into fruition and got kicked to the curb, if that makes sense. Where I could finally enjoy a movie theater, sit down, relax, and have fun. Even for as poorly written as GXK is, for as nonsensical as it can get, for its very, very numerous flaws that still show up upon more and more rewatches, it's still stupid. It still gives me that sense of joy that the movies have given me. And that's part of why I dislike Platoon's video so much, and part of why this video was so much torture to me, because both videos are the result of a mindset that frankly hurts. Frankly just hurts my ability to like something. GXK was a film that I enjoyed to a point that I have never had since KOTM. Since watching KOTM in the theater for the first time. The first film in 5 years where I finally lost something while watching it at home. And frankly, it's relieving. This video put into perspective exactly why it's so relieving, because it's difficult to enjoy something when you have a negative mindset. You can be surprised, but not enjoy it.
It's not to say like, these videos pretty much can or really necessarily have to like make you change your mind on a movie on these movies, like subjectively, like whether you like or dislike something pretty much just personally. But if those videos, like I can say Platoon probably makes better points about why GXK is bad than Mauler or Rags did about why KOTM is bad on a technical level, technically speaking. But both Platoon's GXK video and the EFAP movies video on King of the Monsters are kind of like really, it's just like they really just paint like this, really just kind of exemplify, the notion that the MonsterVerse films are for some reason like this string of movies that are just like impossible to review in properly in one way or another, to critique properly, because like even when you are making good points, they still for some reason just feel like they have to like go so beyond to a point of like ridiculous, like with Platoon, like insulting the fan base or just like making jokes that are just kind of they're just borderline offensive, or EFAP just kind of like constantly just essentially just doing the same things that they criticize people like, they criticize Cinematic Venom for Lord of the Rings, movies that they actually care about. Mm-hmm. So, and this video was like a month or two, maybe 2 months before they did that stream on Cinematic Venom's first, initial video on Lord of the Rings, which, it's still one of my favorite EFAP episodes of all time, because Cinematic Venom had such horrifically bad takes on the Lord of the Rings films that it just like, you don't even have to have seen the movie. You don't even have to have like rewatched the movies recently in order to think that sounds really off the mark. Gimli wanting Frodo and Sam to die. What? Like what the hell? Why would someone put that in their video and think, oh yeah, this will convince people? So I'm not saying like I'm not sure if there's anything like quite on that level here in this EFAP KOTM video, but there's some points that are pretty damn close.
Mm-hmm.
Like yes, this is a if people have peaks and troughs in the quality of their work, this is a canyon.
Yes. Yeah, it is definitely a canyon.
A canyon that stretches to the core of the planet.
Maybe not that, but it's definitely a canyon.
For me, it felt like that. Well, okay, that was Platoon's video. This is mainly just to the mantle.
Fair enough. All right,
it's so deep. You're like, oh my god, I'm about to hit the floor, and then you don't, and you keep falling, and he just keeps going. Am I going to hit? Yeah, I'm going to hit.
Any minute now.
Yeah. Crazy.